No one expected that in the vast grasslands full of weeds, a simple shovel would become the starting point for change. From a humble symbol at first, it now proudly waves on the flag, standing with the pride of many. The protagonist's name is Kim Soo-ho, the name behind all the changes in this land. His success isn't just from his mind, but also from imagined companions, completing things together, and here he's known as Lloyd Frontera. After much practice, Soo-ho raises the shovel high, making a strong declaration. He strikes the shovel into the ground like the first stroke opening a new era. From where the shovel hits, a circle gradually spreads, and patterns start to form. Like blood vessels spreading, the patterns stretch across the grasslands, becoming an extraordinary blueprint. Behind every project is the thought and passion of an outstanding engineer who never sees himself as special. His persistent will is what helped Soo-ho make the impossible a reality, writing a story that changes the world. In a brief moment, lively sketches drew all the ideas in his mind. Soo-ho softly called Habil, like a gift of fate. They stood together on every path. Yes, Sir Lloyd. He couldn't hide his joy and shouted loudly, "This place, it's all money." Soo-ho looked up and yelled. The sound resounded across the sky. Habil beside him also helplessly followed. Always this excited? Everything started on a calm night several years ago. In the space, two strange announcements appeared. Your wish has been randomly chosen and granted by the Supreme Being. Congratulations, while Soo-ho was lying on the ground. The system continued. You will transform into a character in the Armor Engineer. Soo-ho suddenly remembered. Armor Engineer? The novel I read last night? Before disappearing, it encouraged him. Good luck, left Soo-ho stunned, asking himself, what the heck? I'm not drunk. What is this real feeling? Could it be? I've been transported like those webtoons? Have I really moved to another world? After a while processing the situation, he was shocked to realize, why the heck am I waking up face down on the ground like this? Soo-ho shakily propped himself up, saying cold. He quickly rubbed himself for warmth. Bewildered. What happened to my mouth? The system notified. Abnormal condition. Your jaw is out of place from sleeping on the road. Frustrated, Soo-ho punched the air and shouted, "Damn it, everyone knows! These damn notifications are so annoying!" He adjusted his jaw, mumbling to himself, I know I've been reincarnated, but is this a dream or reality? Who am I now? In the novel, no one ends up in this rural area and falls face down on the road like this. Suddenly, a voice called out, Sir Lloyd. Soo-ho turned to look, but the figure was already close. There you are. I've been looking for you. On his belt, he carried a sword. The pale moonlight shone on the young man's head. That was exactly the main character in the Armor Engineer novel, named Habil Asrahan. He calmly suggested, let's return to the estate. A drop of sweat rolled down. Soo-ho felt confused, thinking, just like the illustration in the novel, and he just called me Lloyd. In the novel, Habil became famous across the continent as the swordsman Habil, but he originated from a town called Arcos Frontera as an ordinary swordsman and a baron from Frontera named. After searching his memories, he was terrified to realize, I'm the rude Lloyd Frontera? After this remark, the atmosphere turned silent. Habil tilted his head in confusion and confirmed, yes, I did call your name, but I never said you were rude. But then he smirked and said, but I'm quite pleased you know that. The system immediately notified Soo-ho. Seems Habil is in a good mood. He angrily shouted, I got it. I'm not blind. Shut up. Not long after, they both headed back to the Frontera estate. The scene shifted to his private room. Habil, while lighting the fire, asked, do you remember why you were there? He stood up, looked at Soo-ho, who was wrapped in a blanket on the bed, and recounted, you were drinking all day and causing a scene in the tavern. You'll probably make front-page news tomorrow. After that, you must have consciously gone home and eventually collapsed on the road. He laughed at himself. Right, the life of a jerk. Habil continued with a slightly disdainful look. The Baron sent me to accompany you. He didn't want to see his son dying with a dislocated jaw lying far from home. Soo-ho laughed inwardly, sarcastically. Tough job, huh? He suddenly bent over, gently touched the floor, pondering, so cold, even the floor. No way, I'm in a medieval setting? He kept a cold demeanor, turned to the door, and notified, rest now. I'll inform the Baron about what happened at the tavern tomorrow morning. Soo-ho blankly asked, is that necessary? Habil bluntly replied, yes, he thought. He's so assertive. Just as he put his hand on the doorknob, Soo-ho suddenly called out, Habil. Habil tilted his head and replied, yes, Sir Lloyd. He asked indifferently, my family is drowning in debt, right? He closed his eyes helplessly. You must have just found out too. Habil said nothing more, walked out the door, and closed it with a slam. Soo-ho sat in silence, thinking, I know everything from that novel. Flashing back to the cramped dorm room, he recalled reading the final chapter last night, so he knew Lloyd's fate well. Right from the start, the Baron and his wife were swindled by a con artist, losing everything, and ended up taking their own lives. Lloyd became a wanderer and drank himself into a stupor, always banging on the table and shouting in the tavern. Where's the drink? Bring the drink here. Ultimately, he coughed and died in a pool of blood. The more Suho thought about it, the more furious he became. He stood up abruptly and shouted, "Then why did I become a baron? I'm still as miserable as I was in Korea." The system appeared, explaining, "Your wish was randomly chosen and granted by a higher power." Suho, irate, yelled, "What higher power? And why was my wish to become this guy?" The next morning, the first rays of sunlight peeked over the horizon, brightening the tranquil outskirts. The Frontera estate appeared even more majestic under the soft early morning light. In the hallway, Habiel was walking with Lady Marbella Frontera, Lloyd's mother, who asked worriedly, "Did you cause a scene in the tavern last night?" Suho, arriving at Marbella, thought gloomily, "So now last night's mess is on me, huh? Saying I was actually reading a novel last night probably isn't feasible." She humbly pleaded, "I beg of you, Lloyd. Please go and apologize to them." He scratched his head in frustration and muttered, "Damn it, if this body did that, I guess I have to apologize." He nodded and agreed, "All right, I'll do it." Both were seemingly stunned by his response. The system quickly informed, "They're both surprised by your action." Suho wondered, shouldn't they be proud? The scene shifted to the city center. On the street, an old man was struggling to carry bundles of straw. He suddenly looked up and froze. Turns out, he had just spotted Suho and Habiel approaching. Without saying a word, he instinctively crouched down to hide, making a noise that caught Suho's attention. Suho frowned, confused. Everywhere he went, people scattered and ran away. Suho just stared blankly, not understanding what was happening. Above a window in a house along the road, a boy was peeking out. He was immediately pulled back inside. "Don't look." The door slammed shut instantly, and the system explained, "Everyone in town despises you." Suho replied grumpily, "Sure." Questioning life, Suho glanced over and asked, "Why are you following me anyway?" Hebiel replied coldly, "The Baron sent me to escort you to prevent anything like last night from happening again." "You're my escort?" Suho asked. He bluntly said, "Not really. I'm just protecting the townspeople from you, Lloyd." Suho sort of understood. "Oh, I see." Sweating, he calculated, "I'm just a commoner. I guess first I need to erase my image as a jerk. Anyway, a wanderer only earns a few grains of rice." Suho's heart stirred with another thought. "No, if I settle the family's debt first, as the Baron's heir, I'll have a wealthy life until the end." He stupidly read the notifications, mumbling in his head, "No cheating allowed, huh? No, I guess there is." The notification displayed Lloyd's skills. Scum enables you to make others scowl at you. Drunk troublemaker allows you to become a despicable person. The more Suho read, the angrier he got, furiously hitting things. He turned around, and Habiel asked cautiously, "Sir Lloyd, where are you going?" Suho was startled. "What?" He seriously reminded, "We've arrived at the tavern. Did you lie that you would go and apologize?" He quickly clarified, "No, of course not. I was just thinking for a bit." Habil looked at him darkly, showing no trust. "What? Why? What's wrong? How?" he asked irritably. Closing his eyes calmly, Habil replied helplessly, "Nothing. Let's go inside." In front of the tavern, Suho opened the door and stepped in, not forgetting to say, "Sorry." After a series of unexpected changes, Habiel frowned, surprised. Something had changed since last night, as if he'd become a different person. Inside the tavern, it was a chaotic scene with broken tables and chairs scattered around. The bull's head mounted on the wall was left with just one horn. Suho sat down, lowered his head apologetically, and said, "I'm truly sorry. I behaved inappropriately yesterday." Hearing this, the owner jerked in surprise, trembling with fear. The system described, "The owner is extremely terrified." He was so scared that he started sweating and stammered, "Sir, please don't do that." Suho was taken aback by the owner's timid reaction, thinking, "What's this reaction? He seems more frightened now that I'm serious." Suho tilted his head, wondering if he should be a bit rude. Deciding to do so, he spoke harshly, "I'm sorry, all right." The system judged, "You don't look like someone who feels sorry." He muttered in frustration, "Whatever." The owner sat meekly, unable to meet Suho's eyes. Everything's still fine, sir. You don't need to apologize." He didn't know how to act. His gaze complicated as he looked at the owner. After leaving the tavern, Suho couldn't help but wonder. Even though I apologized, the owner seemed unsatisfied. Habiel calmly replied, "That's only natural." He explained further, "You destroyed all the furniture and belongings inside the tavern, which the owner bought with his hard work. If he doesn't get compensated, how can he be satisfied?" Suho grimaced, feeling exhausted with this role. "I already have debts to repay for my family, and I can't connect with anyone in this town. If I don't clear my debts, I can't do anything else. But what can I do?" He continued, "Not only that, the tavern owner's mother still suffers from the bitter cold of last winter. Adding violence to this mess, you can't imagine the pain he's endured." Suho remembered the old fireplace in the tavern, thinking moodily about it. The place had a dreary vibe, and the owner couldn't warm the entire tavern with just one fireplace. Those words really troubled him. It would be tough for the old lady to withstand the cold, especially when heated stones aren't discovered yet to keep warm. Suho suddenly stopped in his tracks. His eyes opened wide, lips slightly parted. The light bulb was dark, much like Suho's mind. A moment later, it unexpectedly lit up. Suho seemed to realize something, pondering. That's right, something. The light bulb sparked with countless rays, just as an idea sparked in him. I have some ideas, yes, this is it, a breakthrough. Suho's pupils immediately contracted. The light bulb's sparks shot out intensely, and he remembered, there's no heating system here. A glowing line of light stretched across the air. Then many more lines appeared one after another. They connected tightly, quickly forming a perfect design. That blueprint flashed in his mind, and Suho suddenly felt determined. If I can design it, it will surely sell well. They won't believe it was designed by that jerk Lloyd Frontera. Memories of Lloyd's body flooded back, giving him even more confidence. But everything will be fine. Nothing is impossible for Kim Suho. Suho exuded a fierce determination. My major in school was construction and design. Images of his time before reincarnation flooded in. When I was in the military and an engineer, I even built a building in just a few days and worked around the clock. After ending the reminiscing, Suho excitedly clenched his fist. This is it. I'm going to start working and pay off those debts. He took big strides, loudly calling out, Habil, let's go to the tavern. Habil exclaimed in confusion, why all of a sudden? Suho turned his head back, his face filled with excitement. I'll have my first order. Right at that moment, the system activated, announcing, your journey truly begins now. The RP system has been activated. You can accumulate intimacy points by developing relationships with key characters. He widened his eyes, staring at the notifications. After reading through once, Suho rubbed his chin and thought, RP? Is it like EXP? There's no explanation of what it's used for. He noticed a notification. You can gain RP by improving relationships with key figures. Suho wondered, improve relationships, if they are key figures. Suddenly, the system's voice echoed, and an info panel appeared above Habiel's head. Something, it's appearing. It clearly showed. Good impression of you. 30. At once, he questioned life. Isn't it too low? I think it's incredibly low. Suho awkwardly called out, Javier, and he coldly replied, Yes, Lloyd. Suho put on an innocent face and flattered. I think you're really handsome, the system thoughtfully noted. Lloyd wants to appear adorable. However, Habiel indifferently responded, I know, Suho lost both ways. Good impression from Javier, 90-31. Suho was confused. Why did it decrease? Frustrated, he walked away, thinking, I'll put this aside for now. I shouldn't act rashly and upset him. They quickly moved to a tavern. Inside, Suho confidently held a contract and read aloud, the contractor, the owner, and manager Lloyd Frontera. He pushed the paper toward the owner, suggesting, I'll cover all damages by covering the construction costs. Now, please sign here. The owner silently stared at Suho. The system told him, the owner's suspicion is clear in his eyes. Suho clicked his tongue in frustration, thinking, because of this body's issues, his reliability is rock bottom. It continued to explain, the owner is activating the mind wall skill. He pressed his lips together, reminding himself, I can't ruin all my hard work from the beginning. I didn't want to use this method, but I need to plead. Suho had no choice but to use his final move, rudely demanding, we keep meeting, why can't you trust me? And it worked effectively, as the owner silently signed the paper. The system marveled, what rubbish, Suho didn't care. Who cares? After completing the signing, Suho grinned slyly. First contract, successful. Suho confidently reassured the owner. That's an excellent choice, sir. You won't regret it. Habiel watched him with a hard-to-describe expression. They were at an empty plot of land. Suho calculated, I'll make it small, so no need for exact measurements. Habiel suddenly spoke up. Lloyd. Suho turned confused. Huh? He seriously asked, did you threaten the owner to sign the contract? Are you creating a new wrong? Suho paused, momentarily unresponsive, then calmly countered, you seem more unreasonable than you look. Haven't you heard of cognitive distortion? Habiel questioned, cognitive distortion? Suho pointed at him and explained, because I did those things in the past, now it's the same. It's like the distortion sticks to your mind when you have negative thoughts and prejudice. Habiel bluntly replied, that's not prejudice, it's experience and evaluation. Hearing this, Suho suddenly asked, aren't both experience and evaluation from the past? He fell silent, questioning life. What? Since when did this guy talk like that? Suho seriously affirmed, I'll make them laugh, surprising Habiel. Suho declared, while starting to dig the ground, I'll make the owner and his mother smile no matter what. He stamped the shovel hard into the ground. A thought arose, their smiles. Suho swung the dirt aside with force, his face becoming sly. Will be the foundation of my income. He kept working tirelessly, digging, moving, hitting, and repeating. Suho worked swiftly, seemingly without rest. He took wood from the Baron's family's warehouse, carefully choosing basic fire-resistant wood structure. He now applied red clay from outside by the riverbank. Part of the house was quickly completed, which took a lot of Suho's energy. He lay on the ground, panting, internally scolding. This body's physical condition is too weak. Habil approached and touched the wall, admitting, "Quick work, with 3 cuts," he gasped, "even though it took a whole week?" In his mind, a series of questions arose. Did he really do something? Where did he learn that? Did he really secure the contract with the owner? I can't believe stupid Lloyd Frontera really did that. After a short break, he shakily stood up. Oh gosh, my body. I don't have time to rest. Suho, worn out, lifted the axe, his face showing exhaustion. With all his strength, he raised the axe high, his hands trembling. Suho took a deep breath, gathering strength in his arms. Just as Suho was about to swing his axe, Habiel stopped him. Habiel supported Suho's weak body from behind.
Habiel took the axe from Suho's hand.
Then he coldly asked, "What were you planning to do?" Suho illustrated with gestures, explaining, 1 handspan wide and 2 handspans long, about a finger's thickness. You can cut it into boards. Habiel didn't reply. He flipped 3 large logs into the air with one hand.
Habiel gripped the axe tightly, looking very determined.
With one powerful swing, he successfully cut them into countless pieces, exactly as Suho described. The square boards landed on the ground with a thud. Suho was stunned, eyes wide and mouth agape at the sight. He raised a thumbs up in admiration. Looking at Habiel's impressive back, Suho couldn't help but marvel. No wonder he's going to become a swordmaster. It's like a modern machine. Unexpectedly, Suho walked over and placed his hand on Habiel's shoulder. Javier. Suho picked up a shovel and softly asked, "Can you do them all and help me dig too?" Habiel was too angry to speak. Instead of being thanked, he thought, is he asking me to do more? He hasn't changed at all. Javier regrets this. Suho babbled about all sorts of things into Habiel's ear. You're not helping just because you're curious, right? You're not thinking what a mess he'll make, right? You want to see the results immediately, don't you? So what should we do? We should finish the job as quickly as possible, right? And if you want it done fast. Suho smiled cheekily, enticing him. Come on, let's work together. Habil gritted his teeth in frustration. I was right. He's completely changed from a few days ago, but to find out what this untrustworthy guy is really after. In the end, Habil had to help Suho, thinking, I have no choice but to do it quickly and confirm. Habil worked so hard that sweat poured down his face. Meanwhile, Suho was just as diligent. Shovelful after shovelful of dirt was lifted. He raised the shovel in his hand, then drove it hard into the ground. In the blink of an eye, the house was finished. Suho couldn't hide his joy and shouted, "It's done." He clenched his fist and yelled up at the sky, "Finished." At this moment, Habil noticed a scribbled wooden plank on the wall and asked, "What's that plank?" Suho replied, "It's my brand." Habil was puzzled, "Brand?" Suho confirmed, "Something like that." Suho glanced at Habil, amused, then said, "Now, Javier, we will check it." Suho tilted his head with pride. "The trouble I caused for the shopkeeper." Throughout, Habil silently watched him. The cold weather came, blowing away the last remaining leaves. The fire flickered brightly. The house Suho poured his heart into building was finally in use, releasing white smoke continuously. Inside the house, the tavern owner stood with his mouth agape, watching his mother happily enjoying the precious warmth. Oh God, fantastic, this is truly fantastic. She burst into joyous laughter, continuously expressing her relief. It feels like my stiff joints are loosening up. He was stunned, touching the warm floor in disbelief. No, how is this happening? Suho saw this and smiled faintly, thinking, in this world, surprise is natural. She lay happily on the warm floor. This is the magical power of Gudol Ondal. The shopkeeper couldn't believe his eyes, continuously expressing gratitude. Thank you so much, young master. It's been so long since my mother smiled like this. Habiel fell silent, reflecting, the shopkeeper and his mother are smiling, just as the young master said. Looking at the warm smile, Habiel seemed to acknowledge, amused. What is this? His way of speaking and expression have changed. He worked hard to keep a promise to an ordinary person. Habil kept thinking, he really wanted to make them happy. Unbelievable. Someone like Lloyd Frontera never would, but whatever it was, that happy smile slightly moved Habil's cold heart. Habil gave a rare smile and thought to himself, well, those two are very happy now. The system quickly popped up with a notification. Habil's good impression of you increases by 2. Current negative impression, 29. You gained 36 RP for slightly improving the relationship with a key figure. Suho felt a flash of satisfaction. The next moment, a mocking comment came up. Are you now thinking how this guy managed to think like that? Isn't he just trash anymore? Habiel quickly denied. No, he countered. I think I'm right. He again retorted, not at all. Suho chuckled lightly, thinking, I successfully completed the first contract. I spent quite a bit on the wood, but it doesn't matter. As planned, this model house was simply for advertising. A few days later, Suho's warming house attracted more and more customers. He signed contracts until his hand was tired. Everyone who left was full of admiration. I feel like I'm melting, they said. Outsiders found it hard to believe it was that impressive. Suho quickly seized the opportunity to reel in the customers. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it warm? Don't you want a room like this in your house? He held up the detailed design, introducing, Type A is a standalone house. Type B will renovate the current house's floor. If you sign up for both types, you'll get a 10% discount on construction costs. The other person hesitated. No, Suho showed a bit of annoyance and asked, People don't believe you? We've met many times. Why don't you trust me? He pressed the other person, You can't trust me? Are you really going to act this way? At this price, it's a good deal. Just then, someone called out, Lloyd. The person who arrived was Lloyd's father, Arcus Frontera. With a cold expression, he spoke, What the heck are you doing here now? And that attitude caused the good impression of you to drop to negative 20. Suho warily looked at Arcus and fell silent. And that attitude caused your good impression score to drop by 20 points. Suho cautiously looked at Arcus and suddenly fell silent. Not long after, at Suho's family mansion. Inside the dining room, Suho sat eating with his father at a long table, with a very distant atmosphere. The awkward situation made him tense. Facing Arcus's calm demeanor, Suho felt worried. He thought, I've tried not to wander too much to avoid meeting with him. What if he doesn't let me continue with my projects? Arcus suddenly spoke, making Suho pause. Tell me about this. Arcus's face was serious as he asked, What are you planning to do this time? Suho thought to himself, there's no need for lengthy explanations, and then arrogantly said, a client asked for a heating room, so I just made him one. Arcus continued to ask, Did you agree with them beforehand? While chewing, Suho answered shortly, Looks like you already know everything. Arcus closed his eyes in frustration, then reminded, Our top priority is to protect the people. Lying or deceiving them won't be forgiven. Suho confidently reassured, It's not that bad, don't worry, Dad, knowing full well, as expected, whatever I do, there will always be misunderstandings. He stood up and said coldly, Seems you have nothing else to say, so I'll go now. While thinking, run, escape, leave quickly, leaving is the best option. Just as he turned to leave, Arcus spoke again. Is it because of our current situation? You must know what's happening to our family. Arcus calmly reassured. Don't worry, we'll get through this soon. So don't stray from what's right anymore. Suho turned to look back, his eyes showing a hint of sadness. I've heard this before. Old memories came flooding back. Those words had been spoken by an optimistic father, Kim Suho. It'll be okay, don't worry. Nothing big will happen, so just focus on studying well. He thought everything would be fine, but Suho bit his lip wondering, just a lie, it's not okay at all. Do I look like someone who'd suffer for those ridiculous amounts of money? Then he sent a message to Arcus before leaving. Don't give up, because I'll stay persistent with you. A trace of regret crossed his mind. A few years ago, I should have said that to my father too. Suho walked along the hallway, rubbing his chin, calculating, let's see, now there are 32 choosing Type A and 57 choosing Type B. I've already received half of the deposit for the project. As he walked, he suddenly encountered two debt collectors. The two men approaching were none other than the loan sharks Meatloaf and Shalo. They casually passed by Suho, making him suspicious. What is this? They passed Baron's son without saying a word? He raised his eyes at the two and realized, could it be that these people? Meanwhile, at Arcus's private room, the wooden door was tightly closed. Inside, Shiloh sat cross-legged on the table. Baron, how much longer are you planning to delay? Meatloaf folded his arms and continued, annoyed. You only have 5 days left. The man threatened. If you keep whining, we won't just stop here, leaving Arcus at a loss, lowering his face in confusion. While he was rudely questioning, Suho peeked in. Why so quiet? Don't you have money from selling things in this mansion? Suho suddenly broke into a sly smile. Just in time. His smile grew more cunning with the thought, just in time for me to shine. He crossed his arms, sat on the bed, having received 36 RP points. Suho wondered, I've received a few more RP points after raising Habil's favor. What can I do with these points? The system unexpectedly announced, your skills can be enhanced using the current RP points, which made him skeptical. Does this damn message really know why? Once I said something causing it to sulk away, now I have to apologize. All right, sorry, okay? I won't say that again. After a while of loading, a blue energy circle appeared at Suho's feet. He widened his eyes in awe, followed by a series of messages from the system about discovering land mechanics, water mechanics, and architectural knowledge. That circle gradually moved up to Suho's head, discovering clean water and sewage knowledge, steel construction and project design knowledge, advanced level program design knowledge. After completing the inspection process, the system mockingly commented, "You have more knowledge than you appear." Hearing that, he angrily shouted, "Is it necessary to say that? I'm actually a scholarship student in advanced class." An information board appeared, skills you can receive based on current knowledge. Basic measurement, required RP, 15. Basic design, required RP, 20. Suho hadn't fully grasped the issue, thinking, I'm not sure what these are for either. With the current points, he didn't think much and quickly tapped into both skills. Anyway, I have enough points. Let's upgrade both. As soon as the basic measurement skill activated, his eyes suddenly emitted a strange light, and he shouted in panic, "What is this?" Suho immediately ran to fling open the window to verify. Looking at the land accurately and in detail, he was shocked. Is this real? Even without using GPS, I can measure just with these eyes. In the next moment, his second skill, basic design, also activated. Suho just waved his hand a few times and sketched out a house. He was amazed, thinking it was so useful, unlike before, when he had to spend so much effort on paper drawings. Suho sat back on the bed, starting to calculate. His work would be much easier from now on, but he wondered if Habiel could handle the jobs of multiple people for the project. He thought about the modern crane, then stumbled upon a dilemma, wishing he had the knowledge to create heavy machinery. He wondered if he could make one. The system immediately replied, "Yes, you can." Suho stared at the message, amazed, and exclaimed, "Really?" The system displayed an introduction panel illustrating a random fantasy item. Use RP points to draw a fantasy item, featuring various characters and skills. Choose a fantasy noble partner. He read to this point and squinted suspiciously, thinking it resembled a game ad encouraging purchases. The notification continued, drawing a random fantasy item. Start. One draw costs 50 RP. Suho pouted bitterly, thinking it so expensive, and realizing he only had 1 RP left. He rubbed his chin, thinking about a series of majestic creatures born from his imagination. Fantasy characters could be as useful as heavy machinery, if he was right. His eyes widened, a spark of determination in them. RP, I need to gather as much RP as possible. To do that, he'll need to increase favor with important characters. Elsewhere, in Arcus's private room, Miodulus slammed his hand on the table, calling out loudly, "Baron Frontera." He glanced at him and then spoke with a seductive tone. "If you don't have the money to pay, I'll tell you a way to get some." Miodulus smiled cunningly. "I know a great place where you can sell your wife and maids for a good price." After those crude words, Arcus couldn't hold back his anger any longer, shouting, "How dare you!" At that moment, an unexpected voice rang out, "You think you can do such inhumane things just because you're the creditor, huh?" Suho appeared, draping his arm over Miodulus's shoulder. Miodulus was startled and shrugged off his arm. "Who the heck is this kid?" Arcus, confused, called out, "Lloyd," while Miodulus put on a disdainful, mocking face. "The eldest son with moral issues, is that why you're butting into adult conversations?" Miodulus lost his temper and ordered Suho to leave, but Suho interrupted impatiently with a boastful attitude. "Enough! Do you have an invitation? Bring it here!" The question left Miodulus and Shalo stunned. "What?" Suho firmly read aloud, Kingdom Code, Section 3, Article 6. All nobles in the kingdom have the right to protect their rights and interests. Suho's face darkened as he coldly looked at the two of them. Entering a noble's mansion without an invitation is equivalent to breaking the law, clearly stated. The two creditors stood there, mouths agape. Miodulus pointed a finger, angrily shouting, "What nonsense are you talking about?" His companion boldly continued, "I've never heard of such a law." "Don't know it, huh? Want to check with me?" Suho taunted them playfully. Suho called out confidently, "Hey, Beal." Immediately, the door swung open, and a person stepped in, respectfully responding, "Yes, Sir Lloyd." As Habiel entered, he scanned the room with his eyes. Suho smiled a chilling smile and commanded firmly, "Cut off the hands of those who break the law for me." After receiving the order, Habiel didn't hesitate to approach. Miodulus and Shalo were shocked. "Are you crazy? You want to be brought to trial?" Suho arrogantly replied, "That's why I want to verify the clause with you guys. Let's see which side the court will choose." As soon as he finished, Habiel coldly drew his sword. The two creditors were terrified, drenched in sweat. Furious, they turned away and loudly warned, "Do you think you can get away with this? You'll regret it." The door slammed shut in front of him. Suho smugly raised his hand and mocked, "Idiots." Arcus suddenly called out, causing both of them to freeze. "Lloyd, Habiel." He stood up abruptly, his face full of panic. "Do you realize what you've done? This doesn't help anything." Suho said nothing, but slammed a sack on the table, surprising Arcus. He calmly explained, I plan to give you the deposit money I earned, but this is enough for this month. He looked at the large sack of money in front of him, feeling uneasy, and quickly asked, Deposit money? Did you get this from others? How can I use this money? Habil suddenly spoke to reassure him. Sir Lloyd, please don't worry. He spoke to Arcus with unwavering determination. I will monitor Baron Lloyd to ensure he keeps his promise to everyone. He pressed his lips together, his heart slightly shaken. Seeing Habil's expression, he trusted Lloyd. Suho slightly bowed and politely said, Now, we will take our leave, while Arcus looked at him silently without responding. The two of them leisurely strolled down the hallway. After leaving his room, Habil sarcastically asked, How did you know about that law? I thought you were indifferent to everything. Suho, annoyed, replied, I found it, okay? He thought to himself that he actually discovered it from Habil in the novel. The image of that rainy night appeared, with Habil standing silently by his parents' grave after Lloyd's parents passed away. Those two loan sharks wanted to dig up their graves to find something valuable to sell. And that time, despite the rain soaking his face, Habil firmly recited, Kingdom Law, Section 3, Part 6, grants all nobles in the kingdom the right to protect their rights and interests. After that, he immediately beheaded the two men, and when Habil was taken to court, he was declared innocent. Suho, recalling this while rubbing his chin proudly, thought how useful it was to remember the contents of the novel. A joyful smile briefly appeared on his lips. After all, the announcement was about to appear. Notification. Baron Frontera's favorability towards you has increased by 6 points. You have received 60 RP for improving your relationship with an important character. RP points, 61. After receiving this information, Suho's face was filled with enthusiasm, thinking, I'm predicting this like a genius. Fictional characters, here I come. The full moon hung in the night sky while everything was lost in dreams. Suho stood alone in an empty field, pondering the situation. He looked around, searching for someone, but there was no one in sight. Suho glanced at the notification that appeared, mentioning random mythical creatures, a start, and one draw costing 50 RP, muttering, random draw. Without hesitation, he pressed the option, ready to start. Immediately, a mystical blue light descended from the system, making him widen his eyes in amazement. In the air, 3 magical gears appeared, continuously moving and grinding against each other. A concentric circle formed from the colliding gears, sparking with electricity. His mouth dropped open as he looked up at the sky, stunned, wondering if it was magic. A spell formation took shape in the air, with mysterious incantations. Such a short spell. Strange sounds came from the formation, making Suho frown and curse internally about the noise. After a moment, something unexpectedly emerged from the circle's center. It turned out to be the head of an adorable hamster, smiling widely. Contrary to his fantasies, Suho was dumbfounded, staring at his mythical creature. The creature slipped out of the formation and landed with a thud at his feet. Pabadong looked up with glistening eyes at Suho. He stood frozen, unable to immediately regain his composure. Then, with a look of disgust, he frowned and said, What a failure. The words hurt Pipodong, making its eyes water. Just as Suho turned to leave, Popodong squeaked loudly, prompting him to bluntly reply, What? You're not a failure? You know how to do a lot? Walking up to it, he spoke impatiently. Like acorn bullets? I don't need something like that. Before he finished, Pipodong waved its paws, prompting Suho to relent. Not that? Then show me what you can do. So it rubbed its cheeks and started chomping on something in its mouth. Next, Papadong spat out a piece of paper and a bag of seeds covered in saliva, and he internally criticized, gross, so dirty. He squatted down, picked them up, and glanced at the paper which read using Padodong manual. It stated that Pabodong is a cute hamster. Care for it with love. There was also additional info. Feed Pipodong sunflower seeds to change its size. Suho read this and poured some seeds into his hand. Red sunflower seeds make Pipodong grow and will lose effect after 12 hours. Blue sunflower seeds make Pipodong shrink. Feed it before the red seed's effect wears off. He read the last line and muttered, a 2-colored sunflower seed pack costs 1 RP. After reading the instructions, Suho asked, How big can you grow? Human size? Popodong, should I check myself? He gave a red sunflower seed to it, thinking, a hamster that can dig is useful. If it grows human-sized, it'll be very helpful. Podong munched on the sunflower seed. Soon, its entire body burst with a dazzling light, growing larger. The light intensified, glaring at Suho. He fell backward from the impact. Before he could get up, he was shocked by what he saw. Podong stood magnificently before him, now enormous. Suho exclaimed internally, What the heck is this, 5 meters? No, at least 10 meters. Seeing its master's panic, Pabodong laughed mockingly, which made Suho find it irritating. It looked down at him, seeming arrogant. A notification appeared. Podong's abilities, digging level 1. Next moment, Padong swiftly showed off its talent.
Padong's next skill was flattening Earth level 1. It simply rolled around a few times, flattening the ground instantly.
Padong's last skill is cheek pouch level 1, which some rodents and monkeys use for storing or carrying food. After a moment of maneuvering, Podong opened its mouth and spat out a large clump of dirt. The clump landed in front of him, splattering Suho with saliva. Instead of being disgusted, Suho was thrilled after witnessing the scene. The issue of heavy machinery was solved. Not long after, as he walked down the corridor, another dilemma popped up. If he suddenly appeared with something amazing, people would be suspicious, right? Suho smiled smugly as a bold idea dawned on him. Fine, I'll carry a summoning book and then say I'm a genius summoner. Why am I so smart? I might go crazy. With that thought, he walked quickly, feeling exhilarated, ready to tackle the manpower issues for upcoming large-scale projects. The next morning, as night lifted for the first rays of dawn on the horizon, by the river flowing through the land, Suho stood in front of a lineup of soldiers holding shovels, commanding, "Repeat after me." He opened his mouth wide, emphasizing, "Safety first." Opposite him, the sleepy-faced Baron Frontera's 30 soldiers weakly echoed, "Safety first." Suho was speechless with disappointment, thinking, I'll die laughing at how they respond like soldiers who get paid without working. Why hasn't the Baron dismissed them with his debts? He quickly regained his initial excitement, feeling at ease. All right, then no extra wages will be paid, and it's a relief to gather so much manpower. Suho continued to shout. Listen carefully. You are soldiers. Where should soldiers be? In the army. He slung a shovel over his shoulder, enthusiastically proclaiming, but what's the military's top priority? It's labor, Suho painfully recalled. In the army, we dug and weeded more than we trained. Then he pointed to the huge pile of earth and strongly declared, Do you see that dirt there? I excavated that all night. Suho lied to himself. Actually, Pepodong had dug it up in 30 minutes. He started delegating the first tasks. The crucial first mission is to revive this land by constructing heating facilities for the residents. To do this, you must first move the soil to the construction site. Faced with this demanding task, the soldiers immediately wore a bored expression. Their attitude played right into Suho's plan. Just as I predicted, I knew they'd react this way. Suddenly, someone called from behind, young Master Lloyd. The person who appeared was Baron Frontera's chief knight, Neumann. He asked immediately, What orders did you give my soldiers? Suho glanced back, unable to hide his smug grin. I also guessed this guy would show up. There are 3 knights on this land, Neumann, Bayern, and the novel's protagonist, Habiel Azrahan. In the novel's beginning, both Bayern and Habiel remained loyal until the land fell apart. But this guy was the first to betray and leave the Baron. Because Neumann sold information about the Baron to the swindlers, he's also deeply in debt. Suho gave him a scrutinizing look. The more I think, the less I understand. This is messed up. How can this guy be a chief knight? He smirked arrogantly. What do you think we're doing, Knight Neumann? Barony glared, I can't believe you're having soldiers do such dirty work. As chief knight, I can't accept this. Suho leaned against his chin, cursing inwardly. Damn it. I'm trying to earn money to pay off debt. He cleared his throat to retaliate, but I've got the Baron's permission. He then rehashed old complaints, lecturing, I don't know what trick you used on the Lord, but thinking about your past, the term Lord is just a general title for a noble, not a rank. Any noble under Duke level can be called a Lord. Barony narrowed his eyes. I believe you're using the army for personal gain. Am I wrong? But those questions were like water off a duck's back to Suho. Suho narrowed his eyes with a mocking smile. No, you're right. In the next second, his face turned dark, particularly over the beating. He glared at Suho, while Suho lazily thought, look at his weak logic. If he tried an online game, he'd be scared to death. Suho stabbed his shovel into the ground, pondering, then let's see, he took a long stride, not hesitating to swing the shovel toward Baroni. The soldiers gaped in fear at the scene. The dirt flew directly at Baroni's face, causing him to raise a hand to shield himself while giving Suho a death glare. On this side, Suho calmly wore a provoking smile. A little while later, the man's legs began trembling. His suit was covered in dust and dirt. Barony was red-faced with anger, his voice strained as he questioned. You little brat, did you just try to tarnish the reputation of a knight, huh? He cursed quietly, the incompetent son of a baron on the verge of bankruptcy. Pretending to perk up his ears, Suho asked again, What did you just say? You want to put your special rank aside and fight? Suho swiftly spun his shovel a few times. Without any hesitation, he pointed the tip of the shovel right at the man's face. Suho nonchalantly taunted, All right then, let's try it once. Jump in for a duel. Barony's face was filled with bulging veins, his eyes wide open in warning. You'll regret this, you fool. Time slipped by, and that evening at the Frontera estate, Habiel's voice echoed, In a month, you'll have a duel with Knight Neumann? He glanced nervously at Suho. Are you confident that you'll win? Sitting on the bed, Suho casually replied. What? Are you stupid? Of course not. Suho pointed at his head and questioned, our opponent is a knight called the Magic Heart and an expert in basic swordsmanship, while I'm just a lazy guy. How could I face him? Are you asking without thinking? Do you know how to use your brain? Faced with Suho's arrogant demeanor, Habiel had often wanted to beat him up, thinking, I almost cut him down. Watching Suho nonchalantly pick his nose, Habiel couldn't help but feel skeptical. He couldn't believe that Suho suddenly smeared mud on Knight Neumann and demanded a duel. While he might want to return to being a scoundrel, but Habiel was still deep in thought, planning to make money like that. He had requested a special favor from the Baron, then started a debate and stepped aside. At that time, he appointed Knight Bayern as a replacement supervisor and commanded the construction battalion. Without context, you can't understand anything or anyone, mainly because it's confusing and unclear. I still can't believe he's not confident about the duel, he mumbled, irritated, until Suho took out a booger. Habil muttered to himself angrily, how annoying, I want to chop him up. At this moment, Suho wiped his hands with a towel and said to him, well then, Knight Habil, there's something you need to do for me. Suho smirked and proposed, teach me how to use a sword.
Habiel bluntly rejected him. I don't want to.
Suho put on a confused face and asked, why not? Habiel sternly replied, first, my duty is to watch over you, young Master Lloyd. Habiel kept a neutral tone and stated, secondly, young Master Lloyd is a scoundrel. I mean, if a scoundrel learns swordsmanship, it would be more dangerous for the people around him. Suho, hearing this, complained, hey, can't you at least talk nicely? Suho clicked his tongue and asked again, is it really like that? You don't want to teach me, right? He raised an eyebrow and offered a deal. If you teach me swordsmanship, in return, I'll cure your insomnia. How's that? Habiel was momentarily taken aback, wondering, how did he know about that? Suho, on the other side, grinned proudly, because it's in the novel, and I also know the cause of your insomnia. In the novel, Knight of Blood and Iron, knights are ranked at 4 levels: Swordmaster, Advanced Swordsman, Intermediate Swordsman, and Basic Swordsman. Habiel's rank is Advanced Swordsman, and he will soon become a Swordmaster. The cause of his insomnia is his hypersensitive, superhuman nervous system, called the Swordmaster Syndrome. He couldn't help but judge, of course, that information wouldn't reach this rural area. How would this fool know about it? Seeing the hesitation, Suho piped up, do you agree to this deal or not? Pretending not to know is useless. Your face clearly shows your insomnia. He sighed in frustration. Finally, Habiel nodded in agreement. All right, I'll give it a try. Suho jokingly exclaimed, really? Don't go easy on me. Habil smirked with little trust. Of course, I mean, you'll definitely fail. I've tried many different ways to cure insomnia, from cognitive behavioral therapy, pharmaceutical remedies, aromatherapy, to physical exercise, traditional medicine, and more. Yet, that very night, he fell asleep soundly on a chair with a pillow. Suho stood with his hands on his hips watching Habiel sleep soundly by the fireplace and commented, this unreasonable guy. I did know how to cure your insomnia. He questioned himself, was that the first time he dozed off while reading magic techniques, wasn't I right? Suho raised a finger, muttering, the 18th magic technique, reading a book on reinforced concrete out loud helps everyone fall asleep. Suho was thrilled, excited by his thoughts. Now all your swordsmen will belong to me. Under the soft morning sunlight was Habiel's bright and cheerful face. Run 50 laps, right now. Suho froze, looking at him for a few seconds. Then he sluggishly turned around. Then he plodded off to run without a single complaint, which made Habiel impressed. He's running without whining? Suho lifted his legs and ran steadily under Habiel's watchful eye. He panted, but soon completed half a lap. Suho ran a lap, then stopped in front of Habiel, tiredly complaining, I hate doing this. Teach me some techniques. Despite his words, he obediently ran circles around the area. Each time he passed by, even with sweat pouring down his face, Suho confidently remarked, you don't expect much, do you? You thought I'd give up and start screaming, right? Then he continued to run, while Habiel silently observed him. Suho ran on again, talking non-stop. Then you'll say, you're not suited for this area, and ignore me, right? Habiel was caught off guard and froze on the spot. Suho said and ran off quickly with a wide grin. What will you do now? I'm going to keep running until the end. At that moment, a system message appeared. Passive skill, being annoying, has increased to level 4. Anyone who sees you will think you're an idiot and feel the urge to hit you. Suho yelled in frustration, I don't need a skill like that, go away. He ran, panting heavily. Sweat poured off him like a shower, and he thought to himself, actually, I'm really tired. Saying I'm not tired is a lie, but this is nothing compared to when I was in Korea. Before reincarnation,
Suho didn't enjoy the warmth of family. Every morning, he woke up in a cramped boarding house. Day after day, Suho carried bricks to the fourth floor of villas. Then he spent all night loading boxes onto trucks. Just to avoid starving, he always nurtured a hope that one day things would get better. Late every night, bearing heavy bricks on his shoulders, he kept his eyes on a faint light in the distance, thinking, "Hang in there, Kim Suho, things will get better." Suho tried to reach out to that beacon of hope, telling himself, "You're doing great, you've met the standards." He always encouraged himself, just a little more. But everything seemed to cruelly dismiss his efforts, leaving his eyes filled with disappointment. The light gradually slipped out of Suho's reach. He sat down on the ground in despair, heavy bricks falling around him like shattered hopes. Now, with a different identity, Suho never stopped trying, compared to that pain and despair. "This is nothing." His feet remained confident, striding from morning till night, carrying a firm belief. Habil stood there patiently, observing every step he took. Habil was moved by Suho's determination, saying, "If you truly want to learn, then I will teach you, my swordsman." While he was running hard, a system notification sounded, "Attention, Habil's favorable impression of you has increased by 1. Habil's impression of you is now -28. You've gained 18 RP because your relationship with an important character has slightly improved. Current RP, 29. That night, at the Frontera mansion, the full moon hung high in the sky, its gentle silver light shining over the estate. In Arcus's private room, the atmosphere was tense. He puzzled over how Suho could be so disrespectful to someone who had protected his family for 5 generations. After hearing the story from Barony, Arcus was even more disappointed in Suho. "I thought finally these days he'd understand, but it seems I've misunderstood him." Even so, he couldn't just stand by and watch, speaking softly. "In terms of morality, I can't stop this duel, but still, the boy is the future heir of this land, so don't reprimand him too harshly." Arcus seriously instructed, enough to let him understand, even if it means getting seriously injured. After hearing that, Barony placed his hand on his chest, bowed respectfully, and said, "I will obey." Behind his courteous demeanor, a simmering anger brewed within Barony. "I don't even know if I can do that throughout the duel." Barony walked down the empty hallway. A wicked thought flashed in his mind. "But I will defeat that arrogant kid and kill him if the Baron causes an uproar over it." He calculated viciously with a malicious ambition. "I'll kill both that brat and the Baron, then cover it up as an accident, and just as planned, I'll leave this village and move to a bigger place." Barony walked calmly, feeling delighted. "Thanks to that young brat, my plan will succeed sooner than expected." Time flew by. Today marked exactly 1 month since Barony's declaration of war. In the open ground where Suho practiced daily, he and Barony stood facing each other, surrounded by onlookers. In the stands above, Suho's parents, Habil and Bayern, watched nervously. Below the ring, Barony held a sword and asked, "Are you ready for this duel?" He put down the shovel, then kicked it into the air lightly. Suho placed the shovel on his shoulder, smirked, and answered, "Of course." He felt incredibly excited and determined, confidently declaring, "I'm ready to defeat you." People started murmuring, "What's that? A shovel? Is he really going to fight Knight Neumann with that?" Barony looked at the scene, his face full of veins in anger. Habil, observing from above, thought to himself, "A shovel made of iron. That's what he asked the blacksmith to make." Arcus, holding his head, sighed. "That brat? Is he just playing around?" He didn't say anything but thought, "Playing around? Probably not, if you consider what he's been doing since last month." Haniel remembered the past, where Suho did basic training every early morning without a single complaint. Then he taught the village engineers about the heating system at the construction site, and then trained in swordsmanship until late at night before going to sleep. That's not the determination of someone just fooling around. I'm sure young Master Lloyd is very serious. He then shouted loudly, "All right, now, the match between Lloyd Frontera and Knight Neumann will begin." Barony quickly lowered his sword, ready to attack. Suho, looking like a farmer digging soil, had a provocative smile on his face. Habil raised an eyebrow, puzzled. "What's with that stance?" Barony, furious, swung his sword and shouted, "Right now. Are you mocking me?" Suho didn't say a word or move, just stood there spinning the shovel like a drill. Then he used force to fling Barony's sword away. This left Habil and Arcus extremely surprised. Barony gritted his teeth, cursed to himself, "You won't be so lucky a second time." Before Barony could launch another attack, Suho already launched a next strike towards him. He opened his eyes wide, unusual movements, but effective, a specialized technique used in real combat, as if his swordsmanship has been trained for many years. He raised an eyebrow, extremely puzzled by Suho's actions. Suho smirked slightly. "Why are you so surprised? Every man in the Republic of Korea can do that." Suho thought,
This is modern close combat technique, a bayonet-type attack. He executed another straight attack on Barony. Actually, this shovel can do a lot of things. Su-ho blocked the sharp sword chop with the shovel. I can use the shovel blade as a shield. The original cutting force is already strong, and then he seized the opportunity to thrust the shovel straight through. But fortunately, Barony dodged. He stomped on the shovel. If I do this, Su-ho now shifted to stilt walking, jumping like in a festival. I can ride it like a pogo stick, let's go. Habiel was astonished. Is he really just fooling around? He jumped and laughed loudly like a madman gasping for breath. Arcus, sweating cold, thought, or maybe not. At this point, Barony couldn't endure having his heart teased like that, and he swung his sword to rush forward. Suho quickly raised the shovel, slipped his foot into attack stance. Nomin, the first weapon I prepared to defeat you is this shovel. He moved directly, as if a whirlwind, counterattacking Barony. The second is the basic sword technique I learned from Xavier. Barony was utterly shocked. Wasn't he just a drunkard and a scoundrel? How did he become so strong? And the third thing is this. System display activated. Skill tool kit level 1 synchronization. Body and spirit unify with the shovel. Synchronization level between you and the shovel will increase. Habiel recalled the past. Xavier's good impression of me increased by 1 during training. And because it was the first time the Baron and Baroness saw their sons so enthusiastic in their lives, it increased by 2 and 3 respectively. RP accumulated as such. System notice, RP recorded 97. Do you want to learn more digging skills? RP points needed, 40. Su-ho looked at the system screen, wiping sweat with his other hand like an old farmer after gardening. I've learned a pretty interesting skill. Then he immediately moved into a fighting stance. Barony let out a sigh. He thought to himself with a cold gaze, he had no other choice. He didn't expect that he'd need this to deal with an ordinary person. A bright aura emanated from Barony like a mist. Habiel quietly watched every movement of the two. His entire body began to glow like a LED light. A vortex appeared in Barony's chest. Su-ho observed as well, noticing his opponent was in a drained state. He quickly realized it was the magic heart. Barony raised his sword straight up. He growled, "This is the real fight, you brat." Su-ho showed no reaction to those unconvincing words. Then Barony rushed at him with incredible speed. He attentively watched, knowing that in the past 10 years, for someone without power, even an ordinary person, it would take at least 5 years to harness the magic heart. It seemed impossible for young Master Lloyd to block such a sword attack. Right at that moment, Barony swung the sword straight down at Su-ho. In response, Su-ho raised his shovel to parry. Barony laughed mockingly. What an idiot. I'll smash that shovel and break your skull. Marbella and Arcus were utterly shocked, their faces white with fear. A loud clang rang out as the two metals collided. Barony's eyes widened in amazement. Barony couldn't believe it. What? It feels like all my strength is fading. Su-ho smirked. The fourth technique I prepared for you is this. Habiel didn't seem surprised, as if he already knew the outcome. It was the magical technique that made Xavier the strongest man in the novel. All of Su-ho's power gathered, drawing from the sword, creating a flow like water. The core technique, Asrahan. Barony quickly realized this, pulled back, and yelled, "My magic is being absorbed." Before he could react, Su-ho swung the shovel down for an attack. Thud, a direct hit to Barony's cheek. A tooth flew up into the sky. Questions arose. What was that? His head turned from the blow to see his tooth flying. My tooth? He was still in a daze when Su-ho struck up from below, sending Barony flying as if to become one with nature. Su-ho then raised the shovel high and delivered another blow. Without a word, he slammed Barony's head into the ground, causing his eyes to bulge. Barony lay flat on the ground miserably. Everyone stared, eyes wide open. Even Arcus couldn't believe it. Everyone was incredibly shocked. What? Young Master Lloyd won? That's so illogical and strange. He stood there, a bit in disbelief, and reflexively raised his hand. I declare, Lloyd Frontera has won the match. Lying on the ground, he couldn't believe what happened. What did you say? How could I, a sword expert, lose to that trash? Su-ho walked over. Did you hear that? I won the match. He put his hand on his hip and asked, so, tell me how you want to get beaten next. Su-ho swung the shovel behind him like he was playing golf. It's finally time for the long-awaited punishment. This made Barony furious, but he couldn't do anything about it. Arcus shouted loudly, "What are you doing, Lloyd? The match is over." He gleefully treated him like a punching bag, pounding down excitedly. I'll start now, he yelled angrily. Lloyd! The troops quickly moved to stop Su-ho. Please stop, young master. The match is over, they pleaded. Bayern sighed. He's lost his mind. Habiel turned back and asked, he's lost his mind? Well, maybe. Su-ho then calmed down. I'm okay now, let me go, he said. Suho leaned on his shovel and took a few deep breaths. But then he picked up his pace to continue fighting, startling the soldiers who held him tightly. Young master, stop. He watched closely. If you looked carefully, Habiel thought to himself, he's only hitting spots that don't hurt at all. Noticing Suho's calm expression, Habiel realized that calm look, it's as if he had predicted what would happen after this. Habiel's eyes were cold. It seemed as though Suho already knew everything. 15 days before the match, Suho had expressed, "Teach me the Asrahan thinking technique now." Seeing Habiel's surprise, Suho asked, "Why are you reacting like that? It's not like I'm asking you about some terrible skill like stealing. More than just pulling mana threads, it can gather mana from around and insert it into my mana source, right?" He was doubtful. "Young master, you know about that?" He thought to himself, "Isn't that the technique I never disclosed to anyone and hasn't perfected yet?" Suho recounted, "Remember when I sang you to sleep? You talked about it while sleep talking." This teasing expression made Habiel ponder, am I just imagining that he's wearing an iron mask? But there's no other reason to reveal that technique except for sleep talking. However, he eventually declined, "I'm sorry, but I can't teach you that. The technique is still..." Suho was dissatisfied, "not perfected." Suho smirked, "If I can perfect it, will you teach me?" Habil turned back. If what you say is possible, thinking to himself, he was utterly confused. Why is he so confident? Suho drove his sword into the ground. "Listen up!" He brought two fingers together. "Your mana heart can absorb mana from outside if it fits." Suho made a hand gesture, spreading his fingers apart. "The result is that it will bounce out. From what I see in the name of your mana heart, the external mana out there is still foreign, right?" He continued, "The root is changing. The mana absorbed from outside will not merge with the existing mana in the body. So separate them, rotate them, and combine them together." Suho twirled his fingers, like a support mana source for the main mana source. They are one, but at the same time, they are separate entities. Now tell me, that's amazing, right? Habil hesitated. "I'm sure that's possible. I'm not sure what the energy is, but, young master, how do you..." Suho teased again. "I just imagined it. It works, right? That's good." Habiel was helpless. That reaction again. From what he says, he must already know something beforehand. And then he could perfect the Azrahan technique that he hadn't completed for a long time. After the first trial, he was able to create 3 rings. With more practice, he could create 4 or 5 rings. The system displayed a notification. "Xavier's good impression of you has increased by 5. Suho was stunned. "What? How long do you have to teach this technique? I don't need that. I just need to learn the absorption. I don't need all the surrounding mana, just the part I can use." You have that capability, so he really thought you could defeat Noman. Returning to the present, he succeeded brilliantly. Arcus slammed his hand on the table. "Father told you to stop, Lloyd. You can't continue to trample on a knight's dignity." Instantly, Suho went silent and remained still. He exhaled deeply. "Father talks about his dignity, huh?" Suho pointed firmly. "Please look at the tablecloth before you think he deserves those words." He spoke softly. "The letters." The man was stunned. "What is this?" Suho continued, "Towards, the one who caused trouble for the Baron's house. That's the letter he sent to Knight Neumann." Arcus trembled as he read, "All the details of our assets, the likes and dislikes of the Baron, instructions on how to forge asset documents." These letters contained everything they had exchanged over a long period. Barony was shocked, amazed at how Suho managed to find those letters he had hidden behind the wall. Suho chuckled softly, saying that Xavier found them in a novel. "Last night, I told Pupodong to fetch them. After reading it, Arcus couldn't believe it and sank to the ground." Suho watched his reaction. As expected, he was portrayed as a kind person in the novel. People would wonder if they should kill him. Suho smirked. "I'm sorry, but being called a good commander and kind doesn't fit him at all." Suho turned around and spoke. "If father is thinking about how to handle him, I'll make a suggestion," Byron asked. "Oh, and what is that?" Suho suggested releasing a fierce rat on him, exiling him to the land of rats, or demoting him to a regular soldier and giving him a chance to atone for his actions. After hearing this, everyone discussed, why use a rat? A knight like him won't be hurt by just one rat, is this? Then he realized, ah, I see, it's to punish him while staying within the law. It'll give him a chance to repent, more a warning than a punishment. Baron commented, "That's a generous decision, very magnanimous, and a warning to others as well." He praised, "Great, we'll follow that suggestion." Suho asked, "No objections, right, Knight Neumann?" He bowed his head and said loudly, "No, thank you for your mercy." Suho's expression was cold. "Mercy, huh? If you use mercy on those who have gone astray, do you think they will repent to repay your kindness? Not at all. What's with this fool? Why is he being soft? They'll be more determined and find ways to exploit your kindness." Barony cursed silently. You will regret this decision, Baron Frontera. I will surely get back at you and your son. Suho spoke up. Good for you to laugh, but sadly, that's your last smile. He was confused. What are you saying? Suho fed a nut to the rat and asked, What's your point, you garbage? Suho tossed Pabodong high in the air. His voice was filled with menace. The best way of forgiving is through nothing at all. It just gnawed on the nut, munching happily. Padong's whole body swelled up like a balloon. Marbella covered her mouth, and Arcus was utterly shocked. Habiel and Bayern were no less emotional. Everyone watched with wide eyes and gaping mouths as the shadow loomed. Its massive form was like a huge cloud blocking out the sun. Barony couldn't anticipate this scene at all. The gigantic Peepodong lost weight and fell quickly on him. A thunderous noise erupted, sending dust and smoke into the air. It crashed down, creating a deep dent in the ground. As Suho chuckled, I feel sorry for you. He pointed to the sky. Expel, while thinking. This will definitely deal with him. A rotten piece of trash. The scene shifts to the peaceful landscape of the land, but Peepodong is not quiet. It moves like a balloon being pulled. Podong charges forward, creating a trench that splits the road.
Habio wonders what Podong is doing, and Suho replies, it's preparing to widen the road.
The workers are hesitant, trembling as they walk. They suddenly become muscular and unexpectedly diligent. Suho continues, back in ancient times, there was a place called Rome, where the residents loved roads and created a system called the Appian Way. Suho glances over. We're starting to build it from today, from the Baron's mansion to the eastern hillside. He wonders why the road, and Suho turns away saying, just wait and see. Suho smirks, because our estate's fame will skyrocket. Habiel asks, young master, where did you suddenly learn this? He is curious. How could you come up with the idea for a heating system we've never heard of, and even summon things like high-level magic unexpectedly? Is it really you? He questions. The young Master Lloyd? A system alert appears. Warning, Xavier is currently doubting your identity.
Suho's gaze becomes wary.
While Habiel's gaze turns cold and stares at him, he thinks to himself, when reading about this rogue's personality in novels, I knew he could notice a stranger suddenly appearing in the Baron's son's body. Habiel draws his sword. If it's this guy, drawing a sword is obvious for him, he thinks. But why rush? I've prepared a move for this situation. Suho looks stunned. I secretly learned it. Why? Am I not allowed to do that? The system shows special skill, stubbornness. Habiel scoffs secretly. But you're always drunk. He points and asks, do you supervise me 24/7? I used to be a jerk, but do you know for sure what I'm doing? He glances to the side. Then how do you explain summoning? It's quite difficult for a magician even with 20 years of experience. Suho snaps. Then what about you? How can you master magic at the age of 20? You didn't learn from anyone, right? Okay, you're the best. Genius says whatever you want. Habiel denies. No, I don't think I'm a genius. He asks if you can be a genius, then why can't I? Damn it, if I suddenly become a summoning genius, would it affect anything? Upon hearing it, he becomes incredibly dissatisfied. Suho turns and walks away. Is that all? I'm off to check some stuff. Special skill, stubborn, quick chatting. Thinking to himself, does he get it? He has to understand. All right then. Suho walks toward Bayern. Knight Bayern, watch over the arrangements for a bit while I'm out. He reassures. I understand, please don't worry. Habiel follows. I'll go with you because it's my duty to supervise the young master. Suho casually replies. Of course, you're coming too. He wonders, where are we going now? Suho answers, somewhere pretty far to collect unpaid bills. The scene shifts to the small remote town of Rudania Estate, at some small tavern. A hand slams on the table with angry cursing. Can't believe it. I lost a whole bunch of money. I'll make those bastards pay. It's the scammer from the Thord's estate. Leopold assesses. Wasn't that just ordinary gambling? That's the money you've earned so far, right? He adds, furthermore, if you can't pay wages to your guard, I'll leave right now. Thord snaps. I'll give you more, so don't leave. Leopold reminds. Remember, I'll quit if you don't pay on time. He ruffles his hair. The only way to make money is by scamming others again. There are still many people looking for me. We must flee immediately. A voice interrupts the train of thought. You talking about me? At the door, Suho kicks it open and steps in. Thord stands bolt upright. What the hell is wrong with you? He smirked. You don't remember my face. Suho slightly raised a corner of his mouth. Lloyd Frontera. Has your dog's brain recognized it yet? He heard this and was astonished. Leopold spoke softly. Should I kill him? Thord stopped him. No, just run. But just as he finished speaking, he brought him down to the ground and grabbed him by the waist. Like that, the two rushed out of the window and flew away. Afterward, Leopold landed on the ground below. His face became extremely tense. That's when Habiel appeared in front of him. He swung his sword down as a challenge. Habiel spoke up. Leave this guy and get lost. Otherwise, we will consider you an accomplice. He observed. just as young Master Lloyd said.
Habiel looked at the two. They'll escape through the window and run into the forest, so wait here.
Leopold was boiling with murderous intent. Brat. He clenched his fists. Do you know how to use a sword? Suho, looking down at the scene from above, thought. Xavier lost track of the Baron and pursued that grudge, fighting against Thorda's guard, the swindler he's chasing. And then he encountered the first dark mage. At that moment, Habiel was pressing his sword against the ground, resisting the darkness, trying to fight against the gravity magic. His lips curled up. That's what's written in the novel. Leopold launched a direct attack toward him.
Quickly, Habiel raised his sword to block the attack.
But he couldn't withstand the power. A source of black energy burst forth. A layer of membrane enveloped his body. Leopold arrogantly spoke. As expected, you will. He swung his powerful fist and shouted, die.
Habiel slid backward, and Suho thought when Xavier fought that bastard in the novel, he was just an ordinary high-level swordsman, but…
Suddenly, Leopold paused. His eyes showed a hint of surprise. Because at that moment, a mana heart appeared on him. This Xavier has a mana heart with 3 magic circles.
Habiel unleashed a gentle yet powerful slash.
He was confused. What was that earlier? Gravity magic? Leopold was drenched in cold sweat, his fists still suspended in the air. His whole body jumped up high. This wasn't part of the contract. And Thords was left behind shouting, you bastard.
Habiel moved in. Do you know the seriousness of deceiving a noble?
He was kicked backward by Habiel.
Habiel declared, I will cut off your legs so you can crawl to the trial.
The sharp sword came down forcefully. A shout rang out. Stop, Xavier. Suho was now standing in front of Thords. He shouted, are you crazy? If he goes to trial, you'll be punished. He was shocked.
Habiel observed Suho's determined eyes, wondering if he was empathizing with others.
A few minutes later, Thords was tied to a chair, trembling violently. Suho sat looking at Thords. He gave a friendly smile. Don't be scared. Suho analyzed that at some point in life, everyone becomes greedy and will seize a big opportunity if they can. He rested his chin on his hand. Beheading you seems a bit much. Thord stammered. So you'll forgive me then? Suho replied, I won't let the court know about this. He smiled brightly and asked, do you feel grateful? If so, why not return all the money? Thords eagerly agreed. Of course, but only if you forgive me. Suho kept smiling, saying, no, that's what you have to face. Isn't that just how life is? Thords immediately withdrew his excitement. Suho pulled out a piece of paper. I have another condition to forgive you. Whatever it is, I'll do it, Thords said, desperate. Suho slid the paper over, saying, it's simple. Just sign this contract and it's done. Curious? Thords asked. What kind of contract is this? Suho explained. It's just a normal labor contract. Of course, I'll pay you a salary. Suho lightly said, but 80% of your salary will go to debt repayment. Thords went pale and started sweating. Suho folded his arms, adding, and the debt will be fully paid off in 520 years. Hearing this, Thords was stunned, mouth agape as if struck by lightning.
Habiel thought, I knew it. He didn't come here to sympathize and forgive him.
Suho's mouth twisted as he thought, do you think I'm crazy enough to kill someone who owes me? I'd never take such a loss. He poked Thords on the head, saying, I'll savor everything I can take from the rest of his life. Thords stammered in fear. How can you offer such an unreasonable contract? Suho casually responded, oh really? His voice grew cold. Then we'll have no choice but to force your hand and deal with this in court. Thords had no choice but to tearfully sign the contract. Afterwards, all 3 traveled by carriage to another destination. One of them said, I received some money from this guy. There won't be any issues with paying interest for a few months. Suho doubted. What do you mean? All that money will go into labor costs. I've calculated this and 30 soldiers aren't enough. He pondered. But will anyone apply after the recruitment notice? Maybe I look like a fool and they find it off-putting.
Time passed, and a few days later, in the Frontera territory,
a wooden board was set up with the words, Job recruitment notice with a salary of 20 gold coins. For more information, please visit the Baron's mansion. People lined up orderly, waiting for their interview turn.
Suho exclaimed, don't these people hate me? Habiel hesitated. I'm sure they do, but…
He said softly, you've set a suitable timeline for building an ondol at a low cost. I thought you'd punish the traitor. To me, you could even be called. Habiel glanced sideways. A reliable and skilled man. That's who you said you wanted to become, right? Suho's eyes widened. That's it? Just that? Silas approached and asked, young master, where is the labor contract? Suho replied, you definitely have to sign it.
Silas denied, no, that's not it. I wanted to thank you first.
Silas smiled warmly. My children often catch colds when the weather changes, but thanks to you,
This year, I don't have to worry because we have an Ondol.
He bowed deeply. Thank you very much.
Suho was caught off guard. Really? It was something I had to do, he thought to himself. I'm just trying to satisfy my own greed. How embarrassing. Silas continued, and, young master, I have a relative living near a place called Rakona Territory. He expressed. They asked if you could also build an ondol there. Suho was thrilled. There it is, the first step toward a great future. I didn't build an ondol for nothing. I'll raise prices with the excuse of travel costs and clean out all their money. Then Suho spoke. Of course, but it'll cost some money to get there. Habiel observed Suho's sly smile, feeling helpless at that crude expression. Habiel thought, did he really build Ondol just for this? Habiel glanced to the side. So, what about the road up the mountain? A moment later, both stood looking down at the mansion grounds. Suho called, Xavier, and he responded, Yes, young master. Suho concluded, sooner or later, this mountain will become barren. Habiel was puzzled. What do you mean? Suho explained, Ondol consumes a lot of resources. The trees we have here won't last long. Hearing this, his face showed a hint of surprise. He stammered, Then, if you know what will happen, why do you still? Suho cut in. That's why I'm canceling the construction of the Appia Road. Suho looked toward the end of the road. At the end, we'll dig for bituminous coal. He smiled wickedly. And we'll sell it at a high price. If Ondol gets high satisfaction ratings, others won't be able to resist it. Of course, our people will get a discount, but only a little. Hebiel showed clear disdain. That's unfair and despicable. Suho turned to ask, You think I'm unfair and despicable? He spoke softly. If I don't do this, do you think we can pay off this territory's debts? Hearing this, Habiel just stood and listened, pondering. Then Habiel sighed. I agree it's the best way for now, but... He reminded, the Baron doesn't know about the bituminous coal, so he won't be pleased. Habiel continued. Even other barons have tried repeatedly, but... Suho interrupted. I know, it'll collapse because the ground is weak. Suho smirked. But I can do it. Suho shouted, with modern excavation technology, because I possess knowledge of the shield method. He raised a shovel. Let's go. We've got a lot to do. Habiel was bewildered. The shield method, another technology I don't know about? He watched Suho's silhouette, but let's see what this completely different young master can do. Habiel looked back at the road, and at the place where rocks fell into a pile. The dark cellar felt chilling and damp. Suddenly, a giant claw appeared. It dragged across the wall, creating screeching sounds. Countless red eyes emerged in the darkness. Their shapes started to materialize. Terrifying giant ants appeared. Suho clasped his hands together. He raised his hand, activating a magic circle, and began the summoning. A powerful force surged as Suho shouted at a high-end apartment in the Gangnam area. The beam of light shot up into the sky. It vanished, leaving behind a flash that looked like a star. A building appeared quickly, smoke rising thickly. If only he had such a cool skill. Suho sat, resting his chin on his hand, controlling things on paper. He sighed, thinking this took too long. The system notified, Intermediate Design Level 1, Optional Skills, Floor Plan Sketching. Suho leaned back, complaining. He wanted to summon 100 undead workers without having to pay them. The system responded, suggesting he draw with his own hand if he didn't like it. He denied it, saying, No, this skill is really cool. Due to Neumann's scandal, he received 639 RP because he made a good impression on the Baroness, Xavier, Bayern, and others, spending it all to enhance his skills and get these abilities. Suho moved to the end of the path, thinking, Well, we have to dig here. His eyes lit up, activating the skill, Intermediate Measuring, Earth Exploration. Suho noted that this skill could only see 5 meters ahead, helpful for finding a safe path. He pondered, supporting his chin with his hand on how to dig this up quickly, knowing humans would take too long and get tired. Suho thought of Popodong, who got sick from the road system project, and even if Popodong got better, it would be too dangerous due to its size. His eyes rose, realizing, as expected, he had no choice but to do that. Randomly drawing mythical creatures, he had enough RP. From the darkness, a chaotic sound emerged. A cute creature jumped out from the magic circle. It landed with a thud under Suho. Then it made adorable bell sounds. He observed it, wondering what it was for, if it was an assassin, if it was poisonous, thinking it seemed quite useless at first glance. But then he recalled Pipadong also looked like that initially, and it turned out to be useful. Suho asked it if it also grows huge when eating sunflower seeds, if its skills max out, and Bell nodded. He asked if it could show him its skills. Immediately it responded with a friendly smile as agreement. Time jumped to many weeks later. Step 1. Bell would grow huge and consume all the soil and rocks in front of the protective machine. The system showed Bell's skill, digging level 1. Suho shouted, Xavier, get ready, as Bell's tail rose using Bell's skill, soil digestion level 1. Habiel braced himself for the attack. Step 2, Bell would heat the steel, skill, steel firing level 1. He unleashed continuous slashes. Step 3, Xavier would cut the steel. Step 4 involved constructing a structure to support the ground. Habiel wondered why a knight like him was cutting a giant snake's waist for this. Step 5 was the real-world check. Suho praised, good job, let's move forward. Both pushed on, come on, let's keep going. He wiped his sweat with a cloth, thinking, feeling dizzy due to lack of oxygen, realizing if they didn't connect the pipes, they might have passed out. He spoke up, Master Lloyd. I think it's better if we head outside now. You need a break, and so do the other workers. Suho quickly turned his face away. You idiot, I'm the one in charge. As the person in charge, I need to oversee the operations. His gaze sharpened. In South Korea, those in charge were just loudmouths, and some jerks didn't even show up on site. I swear I will never be like them. I will oversee the operations, he thought, and suddenly his eyes lit up. I see it now, he realized, as a bright display showed. Bituminous coal. Suho raised his hand high and shouted, We're almost done. Keep it up. He helped Bell. Thank you. We managed to do it 10 times faster thanks to you. Suho turned back. Listen, when we hit the coal layer, we'll dismantle the protective layer and expand the space. He reminded them, this is a dangerous task, so don't let your guard down. Suddenly, the door slammed shut with a loud bang. This caught Suho's attention. Another loud bang echoed again. His face showed clear confusion. What's going on? The ground here is very solid and shouldn't collapse. Suho's eyes widened, probed the ground. He observed, what is that? A hole? It wasn't there before. Suddenly, something black appeared. It burst out from inside, startling Suho. He fell flat on the ground. Habiel quickly took position, drawing his sword, ready to attack. He swung the sword, directly slashing at the ant. Suho quickly regained his composure and rushed forward to attack. He brought down a strike straight to the ant's head. Its entire body shook violently. Sweat dripped from Suho's body, soaking him. Did something appear that wasn't mentioned in the novel? He hesitated slightly. Hold on, why does it feel so easy? These ants must have their colony, don't they? Just as he predicted, countless bright eyes stared from the darkness. They swarmed like bees and attacked. Everyone, get out of here now, Suho urged. Habiel swung his sword continuously, launching attacks to wipe them out. He gritted his teeth. How many of them are there? 200? 1,000? If they reach the territory, we're doomed. Suho glanced at where he was struggling to fight. Can Xavier hold them off? No, we can't. We're running low on oxygen. Everyone is fleeing. The mine we built won't be destroyed unless explosives are used. If this place collapses, we have to do it quickly, he thought. Panic surged in Suho's mind. What should I do? Habiel shouted, slapping his face. Get a hold of yourself, young master. You can't panic. I'm not panicking, I'm thinking. Suho yelled back. He shouted, Then think of something fast. Habiel anxiously said, Then think of something fast. Suho tightly held his battle shovel. The ant tunnels, bituminous coal, underground. A light bulb that had yet to illuminate in the darkness. But quickly it sparked like lightning. That's it. He grabbed the flaming torch and called out, Xavier! Suho pointed, We're going to attack straight through. We'll go through the ant tunnel. Habiel thought, that sounds ridiculous, but... The swings he made rushed forward continuously. Surely there must be a reason. He shot forward. Let's go. In the mansion, a voice rang out. My lord, we have bad news. Arcus was startled and asked in panic, What? The ant monsters? Where's Lloyd? A soldier quickly reported the situation. Workers have been evacuated, but the young master, Habiel, and 2 others are still inside. Byron is preparing to seal the coal mine. He quickly donned his armor and urged, Let's go, hurry up. At the same time, Habiel struck down hard, making blue fluid splatter everywhere. He glanced back, confused, and asked, Is it still far? How much further do we have to go inside? Suho, holding a weapon in one hand and a torch in the other, grumbled, Don't talk to me now, I'm busy here. He watched the ants getting closer and thought, At least the ants aren't trying to flee their nest, but this pincer situation isn't good at all. Suho noticed Habiel and calculated silently. Habiel is nearing his limit. It's hot down here, there's no oxygen, and the ants are still too many. Suddenly, his eyes lit up, and he clenched his teeth with determination. We need to find it, as soon as possible. Then Suho realized something. Somewhere underground, there's a methane layer. Coal is home to microorganisms that love methane, so the methane layer is hidden everywhere in the mineral veins. Go, go, he thought. He held the torch forward, thinking carefully. If I can find that, I can blow these ants away over a large area. Suddenly, Suho froze, looking at Habiel. He sensed the thing he needed underground, right there, the methane layer. Suho quickly stuck the shovel into the ground with a thud. He dug feverishly and shouted, "I'll dig here, so you can avoid the ants." Then, Suho let out a loud shout as his arms worked tirelessly. Suddenly, a giant ant rushed at him. In a moment of danger, Habiel darted forward. Unhesitant, he struck the ant down, sending it to its death. So one dug the hole while the other battled the ants. Soon, both had to cover their ears from a terrifying scream. Out of nowhere, a gigantic ant, several times bigger than the others, appeared before them. Suho was stunned, stammering, "Queen ant, this one is huge." The queen ant approached with her sharp pincers. Worried, he asked, "Habil, can you handle her?" He replied frankly, "No." Suho encouraged, "Just try." Habil retorted, "There are things I know I can't do, no matter how hard I try." He frowned, sweat pouring down, questioning, "But right now, we have no other choice, do we?" Without hesitation, the queen ant lunged forward. Habil immediately swung his sword backward, creating a green spirit orb. He braced himself and swung his weapon in front, but hit its hard pincers instead. The next moment, the queen ant looked puzzled. It turned out Habil had stabbed his sword into its pincers. He yelled out loud and dragged his weapon along. Meanwhile, Suho tried to dig as fast as he could. Habil was holding on. They had to make the most of the time. On the other side, he was wildly swinging. Yet the queen ant was unaffected. The shovel suddenly gave a sign. Suho immediately realized it. He glanced over and shouted, "Run, Habil, run toward the exit." So both of them sprinted forward with the queen ant chasing them. He stared at the dark hole filled with countless ant bodies, thinking, "Up there, the narrow path we used before." Together they jumped high into the air. Suho suddenly turned around with a cunning look in his eyes. After a short distance, he threw the torch and shouted, "Eat this." The torch hit the queen ant's head and bounced back. It rolled a few times on the ground. The queen ant seemed even more furious and charged at him. At that moment, methane gas spread from the hole Suho had just dug. It ignited the fire, creating a fiery tornado that enveloped the ants. A terrifying explosion occurred, breaking the ground and rocks. The queen ant was pushed back, while Habiel held on to Suho. The ants deep in the cave saw the fire approaching them, but no one could escape it. At the same time, they lay motionless on the ground. Outside, Arcus was being held back by a subordinate. He shouted loudly, and Byron urged him, "No, you can't go in there. Lord, you'll get hurt too." Soon after, inside, the smoke cleared, leaving a few wisps of dust. Suho sat up, covering his ears and groaning, "My ears." He looked at the fallen queen ant and said, "Looks like the plan worked." Suho glanced at the unconscious Habiel and muttered, "He protected me." He lifted Habiel and blamed himself. "Belle, I'm sorry you're in this mess because you stuck with me." Suddenly, Suho looked up with wide open eyes. He saw rocks blocking the path and lamented, "Oh no, the exit's blocked. This is bad." Suho got up, staggering, his head aching as the system warned, "Oxygen level low." He squinted, his pupils bright, and whispered, "I know that, so." Suho searched for an open space. "I need to dig through quickly, more than 5 meters." The system continued to warn about remaining oxygen. He got to work immediately. No other choice, just dig quickly. Habiel slowly woke up to Suho calling, "Habiel, Bell." He faintly saw Suho digging insistently, "We have to escape together." Then Habiel's eyelids drooped again as Suho continually said, "You're both mine." Seconds later, he collapsed again, exhausted. The system displayed a message, "I admire your perseverance not leaving Habiel behind. Bond level with Habiel increased by 6, earned 108 RP. Current RP 157. Suho was barely breathing by then. The status bar showed remaining oxygen, and he thought, "I have nothing to lose now." He suddenly put the shovel on his back and requested, "Hey, system, find knowledge for skill development." The status board appeared, searching for existing knowledge. Then a green circle scanned Suho's body. A series of information displayed. Knowledge discovered on absorbing surrounding mana. Knowledge discovered on processing the ability to absorb mana. Knowledge discovered on enhancing mana absorption. By combining these skills, you can achieve the Azrahan core technique. Feeling invigorated, he thought, "Great, I've been practicing even after the match with Newman. I can develop my skills as I want." It asked, "Do you want to acquire the Azrahan core technique? It costs 15 points." Suho reached out and pressed agree. Of course, he agreed. Then a stream of spiritual energy surrounded him. Skill acquired, single ring Azrahan technique level 5. A small light emitted seconds later. It flew around several times in the pitch black night. Suho closed his eyes, feeling his heart being wrapped by it.
I can feel it. It's unfortunate I don't have a mana heart, but I can still sense the mana circle's existence. System updated. Mana amplification 120%. He thought, with human skills, even if I do my best, progress isn't guaranteed. But I have points. Asrahan Thunder Technique skill upgrade costs 10 points, current points 142. I can immediately increase my proficiency. Suho reached towards the skill upgrade, telling himself, let's do this. I'll bet everything on this. Single ring Asrahan technique level 6, mana amplification 125%, and immediately a bright mana circle surrounded him. Suho was a bit surprised. Does the point cost increase by 5 each time I upgrade? As it updated, single ring Asrahan technique level 7. He gritted his teeth. What should I do if I need those points for something else? Single ring Asrahan technique level 8, level 9, level 10. But there's no other choice now. I need to upgrade it as much as possible. Suddenly, Suho paused when the status board appeared, skill upgrade. Then two streams of spiritual energy crossed each other. He froze at the announcement. Double ring Asrahan technique level 1, mana amplification 200%. Next level costs 100 points, current points 7. Suho wondered, there's more? What happens when the number of circles increases? It responded, optional skill 1. Vitality, you won't be tired for the next 10 minutes. Limited to once a day. Optional skill 2. Energy burst. Your mana amplification ability triples for 20 seconds. Limited to once a day. He quickly gripped the shovel in his hand, urging himself, let's go. Then Suho raised it high, shouting with a burst of golden mana, vitality. Then he frantically dug a hole, his shouts echoing everywhere. The system warned, oxygen level remaining. Suho gritted his teeth, hoping, come on, appear already. He looked at the hole, waiting. Just a small hole. I just need to see a small hole. Suho quickly dug a long path. His limbs worked non-stop, without a second of rest. Later, when the oxygen level was very low, only then did Suho stop. He saw a tiny hole and felt a burst of joy. There it is. I can see the end. Then the earth was flung outward with Suho's powerful yell. Belle and Habiel were still unconscious. He clenched his teeth. Breathing became extremely rapid. The system warned again. Oxygen level remaining. This time Suho opened his mouth wide. The oxygen bar dropped almost entirely. In return, he saw the hole just 3 meters away. Not long after, Suho's knees buckled. The shovel fell clattering to the ground. He bowed his head to the status board. The vitality skill of 10 minutes has ended. The whole place fell silent. Frustrated, Suho took tight hold of the shovel once more. Energy burst. He widened his eyes, refusing to give up. Suho saw it was only 30 centimeters away. Cursed, damn it, 20 seconds. But the remaining oxygen was down to 0, and he collapsed to the ground. It was too short. Suho thought about being the son of a noble in a remote area. He pondered for a moment, thinking he just wanted to live a comfortable life. And then Suho drifted off to sleep in the cave. Suddenly, a cracking noise made him groggily open his eyes. Suho strained to sit up when he heard the sound coming from ahead. A moment later, Papadong emerged from the ground with a shout. He grinned widely, feeling his spirits lift. Suho opened his mouth and took deep breaths. Oxygen, it was oxygen. He picked up his shovel, his body trembling as he told himself, let's go, Kim Suho, the leisure life of a noble son is waiting for you. At that moment, a torch was lit in the cave. Bayern, from behind, cautioned, going deeper is too dangerous, sir, but Arcus insisted, you can go back first. I will go to the end. Suddenly, something made Arcus stop. From deep within the cave, Suho and Habiel's figures appeared. He was carrying Habiel on his back as the system announced. You can surpass your body's limits through extraordinary skills in extreme situations. The special experience with the Azrahan core technique has greatly affected you. Skill with 3 energy modes is selectable. Even when you're extremely exhausted, traces of the Azrahan core technique will remain. Seeing this, Arcus hurried over, shouting, Lloyd. Suho tiredly looked up. He embraced the two of them as Suho collapsed. Not long after, people in Suho's household were buzzing with conversation. About young Master Lloyd, I thought he was just trash, but turns out he wasn't. My nephew works in the mines, and he saw it firsthand. When the monster ants started appearing, he didn't hesitate to evacuate the workers first. Turns out those rumors were true. He stayed inside with Knight Habiel, and I heard they wiped out all the monster ants. Yes, after killing them all, he carried Knight Habiel out. He's nothing like the Lloyd we used to know. Meanwhile, Habiel sat vigil by Suho's bedside. He had been unconscious since being brought back. After a while, Suho slowly opened his eyes. Seeing this, Habiel quickly paid attention. He received a notification. Everyone in the Frontera territory is greatly impressed with your heroic bravery and is praising you. A large amount of points will be awarded as a reward for your outstanding achievement. Current points, 7. Current points, 507. Suho was silent for a moment, at a loss for words. Then he smirked with satisfaction, thinking, I've become a hero. 500 points. How lucky. The scene shifts to the mining area. Workers are diligently working. Suddenly, they turn their attention forward, startled. Upon seeing the person, the workers respectfully cheer, Young Master, it's young Master Lloyd. They bow in greeting, making Suho feel awkward. Greetings, young master, work hard again today. The admiring workers think to themselves, he fights for our lives. He's nothing like the other nobles, a true model of nobility. He forces a smile, but internally complains, I feel so much pressure. 2 weeks have passed since the ant monster incident, and work in the coal mine is going smoothly. It seems normal, but Suho cautiously reminds himself, we should prioritize safety during this time. I have to identify even the smallest risks and avoid them. At that moment, Habiel skeptically asks, searching for the ant nest again today. Can I ask you a question? He warns. Make it quick. Our oxygen is limited. Right then, he nervously questions, why do you put yourself in danger? You could just order the workers to do it. Hearing this, Suho is taken aback. No way. Is he genuinely concerned about the workers' well-being? Habiel continues, young master, since you're the heir of the territory, you should. Without much fuss, he sharply retorts, don't be stupid. Suho firmly states, I should be the one responsible for dangerous tasks. Hearing these words, he suddenly stops. He excitedly turns to explain mischievously. Because that way, they can't say anything if I spend a lot of money. Habil is confused, wondering to himself, I don't know if this is good or not. At that moment, the system announces, Habil's favorable impression of you is about to increase, but stops. Feeling defeated, he sighs. Let's find somewhere else. Suho immediately stops him. No, wait. He confidently makes a judgment. I think it's hollow over there. Seeing the action, Habil curiously asks, are you going to dig and check it? Suho calmly responds, who knows, there might be ant eggs. If they hatch. After finishing digging, he crawls inside. In front of Suho is an orc man tied up in webs. They slowly move inside to examine the situation. He cautiously prepares to draw his sword. He seems dangerous. I'll handle this. Suho pats his shoulder to stop him. Wait, you're being surprisingly reckless. Habil frowns, questioning. So what kind of creature is he? Suho is shocked, explaining, what are you talking about? That's an orc. No, just a normal orc. Come on, forget it. Looking at Harosh, who appears unconscious, he checks, is he dead? He astutely reasons, maybe not. I've heard that ant monsters like to paralyze their prey. Hearing this, Suho can't help but get excited. Really? He smiles with satisfaction. What a remarkable achievement and reward. The scene shifts to a private mansion. At this moment, he introduces himself emotionally. My name is Harosh Kiki Lloyd, my savior. I will never forget you, Kiki. Suho hesitantly asks, are you saying Kiki on purpose? Is it your trademark? Harosh replies, confused, I don't understand what you're saying, Kiki. Harosh, the son of the orc clan leader, has recovered after being treated by a doctor. He boldly declares, I, Harosh, son of the Steel Sand clan, will never forget your kindness. Kiki, I'll give you anything you want. Kiki, and here it is. Suho chuckles, thinking to himself, really? The reason I helped this jerk. Suho frankly suggests, well then, he eagerly requests, please gather 120 orcs to help us work in the mines. However, Harosh calmly refuses. No, Kiki. Suho is left speechless at the rejection. After regaining his calm, he asks kindly, why? What's the reason? Harosh irritably reminds him, you just clicked your tongue, Lloyd. It makes you look like a villain, Kiki. Suho smiles, explaining, no, it's just a habit, like your Kiki sound. Harosh proudly explains, orcs are warriors, Kiki, and warriors only follow the leader's orders, Kiki. He firmly states, Lloyd is not a warrior. You cannot order them even if we lend you manpower. Kiki. Hearing this, he thoughtfully observes, oh, that's tough. I heard that in the natural world, the orc race is required to bring back the head of an ant monster when they mature. Harosh messed up when he went to the ant cave and got paralyzed. Suho thought for a long time, then said, well then. The next second, he unexpectedly licked his lips randomly. Suho cheerfully pretended to soothe. So we can't do anything now, can we? By the way, congrats on becoming an adult, Harosh. He awkwardly admitted honestly. No, Harosh didn't catch the ant monster. I got paralyzed. Hee hee. He suspiciously asked, what did you say? Suho pointed out, didn't we catch it together? Harosh and I? He was puzzled and said, huh, no, I don't remember catching a big ant. Suho teased, oh, you forgot because you were paralyzed. Suho patted Harosh's shoulder and emphasized, it was really an amazing sight. When I went into the ant cave, I saw the ant queen shaking fiercely. He didn't hesitate to add more details. It growled and said, I can't believe I lost to a snotty orc. He was stunned and exclaimed, huh,
Really? No way, ant monsters understand our language. Hee hee, Suho calmly confirmed. Yes, they're quite skilled. He continued to flatter. Thanks to you, hunting the ant monster was much easier for me. Suho leaned close to conclude the matter. So, he lowered his voice and continued, the ant monster. Suho boldly announced, we fought side by side and took it down. He playfully praised, Hiroshi is an excellent warrior. And so is Lloyd. He was taken aback and repeated, excellent warrior. Right then, Suho cleverly asked, what about the 120 workers? Hiroshi fell into the trap and loudly committed, I'll lend them to you, hee hee. About a week passed. So, cut to the village of the Steel Sand Orc tribe. We completed a long journey to bring back many workers, but Akuche firmly refused. I'm sorry, Human Lloyd, we can't help you, hee hee. Hearing this, Suho's face froze. Why did he change his mind? He calmly asked further, Great leader of the Steel Sand tribe, Akuche, may I ask the reason? He shrugged and explained, we can't do it because we have to eat a lot of meat to improve our strength. Hee hee. So if we stop hunting for about 3 times, we'll lose muscle strength. Hee hee. Akuche steadfastly refused. Losing muscle strength will lead to the tribe's collapse. We can't allow our warriors to reduce their hunting. Hee hee. Hearing this, Suho raised his hand to ask again, wait a minute, do you go hunting every day? He unhesitatingly confirmed, yes, hi-hee, we'll lose muscle strength if we don't eat meat right after hunting. Hi-hee. Suho frustratedly cursed under his breath. This guy's muscle story? Habiel, next to him, advised tiredly. For them, protein and muscles are everything. It's better to give up on this. However, Suho rubbed his chin and asked back, according to what you said. He casually suggested a solution. If the meat doesn't spoil after a few days, then you won't have to hunt 3 times, and you can lend us some workers, right? Akuche nodded reluctantly and explained, yes, hihi, we really want to repay you, but there's the muscle strength issue. Suho stepped up and pressed, you said you could. He confidently revealed his plan. If there's a way to prevent the meat from spoiling even after a few days. As they looked back to when they first arrived in the village, Hiroshi cried out loudly, Father! Akuche choked up and called out, Hiroshi! Then, Hiroshi rushed forward recklessly. Akuche didn't hold back, running straight towards Hiroshi. The two of them ran towards each other. They hugged each other joyfully. Father, Hiroshi. That emotional hug was so strong, it sent dust flying into the air. Suho watched, speechless. Just a hug and such a dramatic effect? If you got caught in the middle, you'd probably be flattened. He eagerly imagined the future. If I had 120 workers like this, productivity would increase 100-fold. Suho noticed something else and it caught his eye. Hiroshi proudly showed off his achievement. Father, look, Hiroshi brought back the head of the queen ant. Akuche enthusiastically raised his hand and shouted, Hiroshi, I'm proud of you, my son. Let's celebrate today. The whole tribe carried treasures and cheered in rhythm, training his glory. 1, 2, 3. Witnessing this scene, Suho was astonished. Suho stared at the treasures they carried on their shoulders. He was shocked with his mouth open. What are these guys doing with all that expensive stuff? Suho calmly examined. It looks like something they picked up from a raid somewhere. He nodded, impressed. It's more valuable than any workout equipment. Back to reality, Suho eagerly presented his plan. That's why I signed a trade agreement with the tribe leader, to get both the workers and the treasures. Habil thoughtfully read the blueprint. We'll make a cold stone storage, and in exchange, we'll receive those expensive items. However, it will require alternative equipment that can handle stone. He curiously asked, what is a cold stone storage? I've never heard of it before. Suho casually compared, you know how royal wizards preserve food with ice magic, right? Cold storage is like a house that can do that without magical help. Habil skeptically asked, where did you learn this? Suho casually replied, a circle told me. He repeated in confusion, circle? Suho wearily sighed, so much to explain. Why don't you know a lot of stuff? He seriously pointed up at the rock face. Anyway, we need a special type of stone for the cold storage, called granite. It's very strong. Habil sighed. I don't think it's an easy material to get. Suho nodded. Exactly, it's really hard. He pondered. We don't have any explosives here, but there is something that can replace explosives. Then Suho suddenly turned to his side. He stared at Habiel, then chuckled quietly. There's rice-powered explosives here. Feeling his gaze, Habiel shivered. He looks like he wants to use me for something again. Suho silently thought, it's one of the main plots in the novel Blood and Steel Knight. He recalled the important chapters in Namaram, a city trapped inside a magical barrier, with thousands of refugees needing Habiel's rescue. At that time, Habiel was at the Sword Master level and had the 4th mana circle carved on his mana heart. He had no choice but to watch the refugees' mana being drained. He gritted his teeth, determined, I have to save them, even if I have to risk my life. From that, the deadly teleportation skill was unintentionally created. Habil muttered the formula, protect the main mana heart with one circle, the other three circles. He decisively shouted, impact! Next, Habil pointed his sword forward, then unleashed his skill, explosion. Instantly, a mighty flame shot forward. It cut through the dark shield. This explosion later became a signature technique of the Blood and Steel Knight, along with the Asrahan thinking technique. Back to reality. Suho eagerly encouraged with a hidden meaning, we can't just use one technique, right? He curiously pressed, honestly, how do you know this stuff? Suho firmly denied, no, I really just thought about it for the first time. Look me in the eyes, do you think I'm lying? Habiel judged with disdain. Yes, those eyes look very suspicious and full of deceit. Suho indifferently asked back, you don't believe me? He laughed and teased. Just try it a bit. I hope your sword skills keep getting better. He added tiredly, I know you're trying to do things your way. Suho looked innocent and advised, what do you mean? We should bless each other. Habil reluctantly accepted the challenge, thinking, if this works, it'll be good for me. If you succeed, I'll also try my best. Without hesitation, he pointed his sword at the rock wall and began to activate the technique. Protect the mana heart with one ring, then move the other three rings. Habil decisively thrust his sword into the rock and released. In an instant, light burst out from there unexpectedly. Seeing this, he was stunned. Success on the first try. Through the dust and smoke, his silhouette slowly emerged. By then, Habil's clothes were gone and became tattered. He approached and questioned, you knew this would happen, right? Suho raised his hand to explain, of course not, I'm very sorry about that. Habil reluctantly acknowledged, all right, this time Lloyd's idea worked. Now it's your turn, right? As soon as he finished speaking, the system displayed a series of rewards. Habil felt grateful for being taught by you. His good impression of you increased by 3, decreased by 11. You received 54 points for improving relationships with characters, bringing your total to 561. He crossed his arms and lamented, as you know, I'm a knight. My sword skills are meant to protect my lord, but now I'm using them for construction projects. He shamelessly laughed, little brother, you don't have to thank me like that. Habil coldly countered, I don't feel grateful, not at all. After that, the construction project was quickly completed. The granite stones that Habil split and trimmed were carried away by the massive creature. Seeing the workers carrying loads, an orc tribe member waved and explained, if you carry it like that, your back will hurt. Step aside, human, let me show you. I didn't even ask for this, but the orcs, those gym enthusiasts, jumped in excitedly, enjoying it like a workout. Now it's ceased operations. Seeing the efficient progress, Suho couldn't help but be satisfied. At this rate, it'll be finished 5 times faster. He pondered, what we need now is ice and insulation. Later, Suho calmly asked, Habil, the 5 people I sent for insulation materials, it's been a long time, hasn't it? He patiently confirmed. Exactly, it's been 3 weeks. Upon hearing this, he furrowed his brow and deduced, shouldn't they have returned by now? Habil seriously hypothesized, there are 2 possibilities. Either the troops are too lazy. Suho quickly added, or they've run into trouble. He stood up and boldly commanded, let's find out. However, he raised his hand to stop them. Habil firmly wanted to take on the mission. If it's a mission, I'll do it alone. We don't know what kind of incident it is, so you don't need to tag along. Suho sternly reminded, haven't we talked about these things many times? He clearly emphasized, I will be in charge of the construction. I'll be responsible for everything related to the workers. Upon hearing this, he sighed and agreed. Without hesitation, Suho directly instructed, let's go. Upon arriving at the scene, he suddenly noticed items lying on the ground. Suho picked them up and examined them carefully. The special gloves I ordered, they're insulated. Right then, Habil noticed something unusual and called Master Lloyd. He unconsciously looked up. What? He cautiously pointed. Over there, the canyon looks a bit strange. Suho asked in confusion. Strange in what way? Habil hesitated to analyze. I mean, the mana flow isn't normal. It's not right because it's too intricate. He raised an eyebrow, thinking, intricate, canyon? Suho furrowed his brow, guessing, there's something among the chapters of Blood and Steel Knights. Suddenly, he froze. Suho hurriedly turned and moved away. Let's go, Habil. We're out of time, he exclaimed in surprise. Did you find something? He anxiously urged. The soldiers, all of them, might be dead. Hearing this, Habil was shocked. The scene shifts to a treacherous area. As soon as he sees marks on the ground, Suho stops. He picks up some evidence to check. After figuring it out, Suho tightens his grip on the straw in his hand. He carefully stares at the cave. This is it, Rufalin's lair. Suho looks around, recalling the information that in the novel, Habil aimed right for this place as the hideout of a dark wizard named Rufalan. He angrily shouts in his heart, how dare he touch my people?
Isn't that trespassing on someone's property? Definitely illegal. Habiel volunteers to stand in front. Master, please follow me, but Suho, startled, stops him. Hey, wait. The moment he steps in, he triggers a magic circle. Habiel stands there, caught off guard, but luckily, Suho quickly pulls him back. In an instant, the ground suddenly explodes. He exclaims in shock, a magic trap. Suho frowns and questions, Habiel, are you sure you're a knight? You should have thought there'd be something like this, right? He reflects quietly. In the novel, Habiel fell into the very first trap, then continued into the cave with injuries. He takes a deep breath. Then Suho proudly narrates, but our Habiel will never fall for the same trap twice. That's for sure. Returning to the present, he curiously suggests, you said the mana flow here is strange, right? Use that technique here too. Suho calmly explains the principle. Normally, mana has a consistent concentration in the air. He confidently asserts, so you can know where the magic traps are. Suho clearly emphasizes by tracking the mana with abnormal concentrations. After evaluating, Habiel quickly looks up. This way, he guides, and Suho praises, sharp as always. Meanwhile, Habiel secretly notes, he's always been talkative and stubborn, but this time it's different. He is horrified, wondering, Lloyd Frontera, what's happening? How does he know exactly what's going to happen next? Habiel thinks, confused, but how? I don't feel any kind of energy, but could it be a powerful mana? He regains his composure and urges himself, no, I have to move quickly and focus on what's ahead. Habiel reminds himself, we must save people as quickly as possible. At the same time, Rufalan is focused on reading a book. He suddenly senses something and quickly turns around. Rufalan thinks deeply to himself, the trap has been activated, someone has intruded. Are they here to rescue the ones I recently kidnapped? He closes the book and firmly confirms, it's definitely them. Rufalan calmly walks toward the door. I think we're almost done with the preparations. He gently unlocks the door for this experiment. Gazing at the workers tied up in the room, Rufalan hopes, let's hope it's successful. A worker he drags away screams in fear, please, save me. Rufalan throws the worker mercilessly into the magic circle. He smugly mutters, the magic circle connects to hell. The scythe soaked in blood for 100 days, and a young man. The worker screams in terror, no! Rufalan smugly lifts the scythe. Perfect. In a dire situation, the worker screams in horror. At that moment, Suho loudly interrupts, hey, you over there. He gritted his teeth and warned, don't touch him, got it? The wizard was shocked and raised his hand to cast a spell. You fools, there are over 100 traps here. Immediately, the door dropped down. It slammed shut on both sides, trapping them inside. Suho calmly took a deep breath. He puffed his cheeks and held air in his mouth. At this moment, they all stood still. Rufalan triumphantly vowed, I will put you to sleep with my magic, then take good care of you. Suddenly, Suho's eyes lit up, activating the skill Energetic. The system quickly reported, you won't feel tired for the next 10 minutes. He dug furiously, thinking, I don't even need 10 minutes. This is different from when we were in the ant cave. Suho quietly observed, Habiel has never used sleeping potions, so sleep magic doesn't work on him. Habiel blinked in confusion. Sleepy? He continued digging through the ground. I've done this many times before. Watching Suho now, Habiel frowned and thought, he looks like a mole. If I get the chance, I have to tease him about this later. Without hesitating, he pointed and signaled, Habiel, get in. Habiel understood and raised his sword. Habiel was ready with his abilities. He aimed straight at the ground and exploded. Immediately, an explosion burst from below. Seeing this, Rufalan panicked and fell to the ground. Suddenly, a hand reached up from the hole. Suho used his strength to climb up to the surface. He asked gruffly, first time? Seeing this, Rufalan quickly raised his magical hands like a monster. Without saying much, Rufalan channeled power into the magic circle at his feet. In an instant, Rupture was summoned. He bared his teeth and declared, even though I failed at resurrection magic, this is the strongest monster I created. Rufalan fiercely challenged, you won't even scratch its steel-like skin. At this point, Suho frowned, instructing, Habiel, it's tough. Find its weak spot. While Suho was busy analyzing, Habiel jumped up. At the foot? Habiel decisively slashed down hard, and the strike exploded. A few seconds later, it split cleanly in two. Rufalan's face turned pale as he saw this. Suho was astonished, his eyes wide. He was amazed and thought silently. He used the explosion as leverage to slice it, but there's nothing like that in the novel. Rufalan fell to the ground, looking terrified. I'm dead. No matter what I do, I can't defeat them. Suho sat down and called out, making Rufalan jump. You kidnapped our soldiers and stalled our construction for weeks. How do you plan to make up for that? Suho asked.
Rufalan quickly knelt down, thinking he had to survive somehow. He stammered, "I admit to my crimes. Please forgive me." Suho refused. "No need to say that. Tell me, how will you handle the compensation?"
There are many valuable magical artifacts here, Rufilan said hastily. I'll give them all to you.
Really? Suho smiled. So this clock is mine now, right? Rufelin didn't hesitate. Of course, take everything. Just then, Habil entered. Master, all the soldiers are exhausted, but it seems their lives aren't in danger. Suho nodded. Got it. Suho looked back at Rufalan. A few more days and they'd have died. What were you planning to do with them? Rufalan hesitated. Well, in a panicked state, Rufelin answered, I was researching how to bring the dead back to life. Suho felt doubtful. Really? Is that even possible? What would you do if you succeeded? Rufelin's face grew ugly, and he stayed silent. He bowed even lower, more sincerely, bring back my dead wife and child. Suho looked at Rufelin's attitude and fell into thought. Rufelin used to be a mage at a lord's manor, living a normal life with his family. No, more than normal, he was quite happy. But the lord he served tried to separate Rufelan from his wife, so Rufelan tried to stay away from his family. Rufelan, trembling all over, continued, he hunted us down. Suho interrupted, stop, you're turning into a storyteller. Suho's face turned serious. So if you save your wife and child, they should thank you for killing hundreds of innocents to save them, right? Rufelan was shocked. That's, Suho added, those vampires you created. The lives you sacrificed for that, their families, their happiness, doesn't matter to you, does it? I don't think your story is tragic enough, you know. Habiel stood silently watching as Suho questioned, whatever you say, your true nature won't change. Rufalan stood frozen like a statue, listening to Suho's words. Those like you who destroy happy families can only wear the label of a murderer. Tears fell down Rufalan's lowered face. Suho's lips curled into a slight smile. Suho slowly stood up. I'll return later to take the magical tools. He turned around. If you try to harm anyone again, I won't spare you. Rufalin was shocked. His eyes widened. Rufalin bowed his head to the ground, gratefully pleading, thank you, thank you. In Suho's mind, in the novel, Xavier had forgiven Rufalan and left the cave. And then, Rufalin continued to kill hundreds to increase his own power, becoming a twisted villain who fought Xavier time and again. Even knowing that, I'm turning my back now because Rufalin remained with his face down. His eyes looked up like a demon in the dark. Rufalin watched Suho's departing back. A moment ago, he was bowing in gratitude, but then he gathered his power for an attack. Rufalin suddenly played a trick, attacking the two with a triumphant smile on his lips. Suho suddenly turned back, his eyes cold as he asked, Did I say I forgave you? Seeing this, Rufalin froze. From the beginning, I knew it would end this way. Habiel immediately launched a counterattack. A slash sent Rufalin's head flying like a balloon struck with force. Someone once said you're just a fool, a useless dog. You should bow at a 90-degree angle to greet properly. Idiot. There was an old man who always cursed others without reason, every time he did that. Rufilin bowed low respectfully to the man. I'm very sorry. From now on, I'll be more careful. The man wasn't pleased. Keep your back straight, idiot.
Good things will be good. You must avoid conflicts. One fight will lead to another fight. The man turned away. Young people today are good for nothing, except eating.
If you behave politely, he will change too. Thinking this, I endured it many times. But what was the result? Rufilin bowed his head again. Greetings, sir. The man kept cursing. Are you protesting against me? You're deafening my ears, idiot. The old man considered him easygoing. As the man turned to leave, he looked pitiful. Rufilin's whole body trembled. Calm down. It will be over soon. He gritted his teeth to endure. If you lose your temper here, the conflict will only grow bigger, and you'll be even more exhausted. Stay calm. The man continued to curse. The mother of this useless person must be very unfortunate to have given birth to such a child. This really pushed Rufalin to his limit. He stepped forward, putting a hand on the man's shoulder. From behind, he clenched his fist and swung a power-packed punch. He landed it directly on that ugly face. The man clutched his face and yelled, getting everyone's attention. What was that? What happened? Rufalin kept launching punches at the man's face. The powerful punches were delivered continuously. Finally, Rufalin landed a hard kick on the man. While beating him, he thought, it's over, you're doomed now. People rushed to intervene. Hey, stop it. As a result, Rufalin still went back to loading goods as usual. Suddenly, his eyes opened, looking full of caution, because at that moment, the man was standing in front of him again. However, after that attack, the man was also smarter and turned his still proud face away. Silently leaving Rufalin's place, he was still fine.
Sometimes when the violence ends, everything afterward will be okay, right? On TV, news was being broadcasted. In South Korea, there are many serial killers, for example. Considering the penalties for assault, I was drunk. This would be considered as a mitigating factor. How could people give such light sentences to such vicious criminals? The perpetrator is a promising doctor, a young man with a bright future, so a decision to reduce the sentence might be made. Perhaps that's human nature. Suho turned to leave, but it's funny. Villains should receive the proper punishment. They moved to a different land. Suho's group continued moving along the path. One of the members was exhausted and struggling to breathe. He quickly noticed this. Suho turned around and said, "You're about to collapse. Give me your backpack." The man hesitated. "No, this is..." Suho waved his hand. "If you fall, I'll have to carry both you and the backpack, so just hand it over, okay?" Voices echoed in the quiet forest. "You too, give me your backpacks." "But sir, that's an order. Quickly hand them over." The men refused. "We'll carry it, sir. How could we let you do this?" But Suho didn't care and tightened the strap. He shouldered the load and ordered, "Anyone who complains won't get a reward, all right? Let's move." Everyone was deeply moved. Habiel thought to himself, I can't tell if it's really just about the backpacks or if he genuinely cares about the soldiers. I don't understand. He glanced at the troops, biting their lips in silence, but the truth didn't matter to them anymore. Then, Habiel looked towards Suho with determined eyes, a reliable leader we can follow. That's what the soldiers thought of young Master Lloyd. The system displayed, the soldiers deeply touched by his actions. Someday, this beautiful story will be told by them. Doesn't it feel worth it? He was dissatisfied. Worth it? I don't need anything but money. A while later, they finally saw tents on the desert, a sign of life. By now, at the cold storage facility. Harosh looked around, puzzled. Is this the cold storage? He looked up, his face showing slight dissatisfaction. Harosh turned. It's just a bit cooler than outside. The meat will still spoil and the muscles will degrade. Suho replied, obviously, it's not finished yet. He smiled warmly. We don't have ice yet. It's not complete. Harosh was skeptical. Ice? But in this hot weather, where would ice come from? Suho kept smiling. If we don't have it, we'll make it. Harosh was confused. How, old man? He answered casually, in any way possible. After hearing this, he was visibly doubtful. But Suho just kept smiling that unsettling smile. Harosh wondered, did I bring home a con artist? Was the story about the queen ant a lie? The system showed Harosh isn't as dumb as you think. He cursed under his breath. Shut up, I never thought that. You thought so. No, not me. You're the one who thinks he's stupid. Suho denied, no, customer satisfaction is important here. He shook his head to clear the thought. Lloyd is Harosh's savior. I shouldn't think he's a bad person. Then he climbed the steps, turning back. If you need help, just tell me anytime. Suho reminded. Okay, don't worry, just wait for the construction to finish. Habil finally spoke up. So, how do you plan to make the ice? He paused with his hand in mid-air, retracted his words. Suho looked darkly. I'm wondering that myself. He was taken aback. It's the look of someone with no plan. Habiel spoke softly. Did you sign the deal with no plan? Are you planning to deceive them? He chuckled. Look at you. Suho asked, do you know the hallmark of failure? I can't do this. I can't do that. Suho turned around. There are countless reasons. So don't be like that. You won't find anything if you don't try. He declared that a successful person creates their own opportunities and finds ways to fix them. Suho clenched his fist, seeing this as a breakthrough. He raised his hand high, as if demonstrating entrepreneurial thinking. There were two people, but Suho imagined hundreds of thousands protesting below.
Habiel thought, no way. In that case, the risk of failure is 100 times greater.
Night quickly enveloped the sky. Suho sat silently on the edge of a rock, resting his chin on his hand, as if deep in thought. His eyebrows furrowed, thinking, right, first let's make a huge block of ice. Suho remembered Bell and Pipodong, deciding to have Pipodong and Bell fetch water from the lake. He wondered, in this world there's ice magic, so what's the principle behind it? Thoughts raced through his mind. Magic, using one's mana freely. A technique based on freely altering the arrangement of mana. Surely, just practicing absorbing mana every day could achieve it. There are many types of natural mana with that. Change it is the essence of this magic. Suho's lips curled slightly to one side, lost in thought. Then he suddenly laughed, a sly grin, the thought crossing his mind. Of course, I can't use mana as I wish. He waved to call Popodong and Bell over, saying, here, right here. Suho sat down next to the umbrellas, thinking to himself, but I can do something similar. He rolled up his sleeves and dipped his hand in the water, focusing his eyes, the Asrahan thought technique, absorbing mana. Suho stretched out his hand, thinking, If I absorb all the heat, then only cold will remain in the water. But no magic happened. Trying to reverse it was really tough. Damn it, not easy at all. Habiel stood silently behind, watching his friend play with the water. He thought to himself, creating opportunities and finding ways to fix them, thinking the guy was just reckless. And irresponsible too, but Habiel realized he's trying to find a way in an arrogant manner. He let out a sigh, truly incomprehensible. At that moment, a smoky aura erupted from Suho's entire body. The system displayed that he had developed a new skill with the Azrahan thought technique, upgrading to dual circle level 2. Time moved forward a few days. Harosh and Akuche shivered violently from the cold. A large block of ice appeared before the two, amazed he had created ice. Suho knocked on the ice, saying, "It will be finished once we place it inside insulating materials." He was delighted, saying, "It's huge. We won't have to throw away meat anymore or hunt every day." They were thrilled, saying, "We need to celebrate this. Come together everyone. Wonderful." He smiled with a look of great satisfaction, glancing over at Habiel. Suho held up a finger, saying, "Entrepreneurial thinking." He let out a sigh of discontent, saying, "Approved." In a peaceful setting, a voice rang out, "Our Steel Sand tribe is deeply grateful to you, human Lloyd." Suho bowed slightly. "No need to be formal. I'm just following our agreement," the system displayed. "Lloyd Frontera has received 120 workers." Akuche spoke up. "Our orc tribe is different from humans. We do this not because of the agreement." He said solemnly, "It's because we feel grateful. Therefore, I, Akuche of the Steel Sand tribe, promise to Lloyd, the human." Akuche raised his hand and turned. "From now on, the family of Lloyd Frontera and the Steel Sand tribe are one." The entire tribe joined in a gesture and shouted, declaring the bond as if it were a blood relationship. Their unified declaration startled him. "We declare," they said. Akuche grasped his wrist in a signature tribe gesture. "Frontera is our friend. Frontera's enemies are our enemies. If you are in trouble, we will come to you anytime." Suddenly, the system screen appeared. It announced, "The tribe has expanded. The orc tribe considers you a true friend. You can increase your relationships with points collected from the orcs. Points awarded for tribe expansion, 100. Current points, 611. Suho didn't expect this at all. He clenched his fist like they did. "Steel Sand tribe, this is great." And so, they continued on their long journey back to the estate. Everyone was, of course, amazed at the sight of 120 moving blocks of flesh marching to the village. Suho glanced to the side, a smirk on his lips. "I should write an official letter to reassure everyone. After all, orcs are often known as a fearsome species." Even though the Baron knew why I went to the orc tribe, seeing it firsthand is still chilling, and he wasn't expecting to receive any rewards. The system displayed, "The beautiful story of taming the old wizard and rescuing the soldiers is spreading throughout the estate. The people are praising your great bravery. Social achievement points awarded, 300. Current points, 911. The compliments are warranted. Thank you for the points." Regarding the medical equipment from the orcs, the Baron said he would find a wealthy merchant. The only things left are Rufalon's magical tools. Su-ho sat observing the items in his hands. Habil asked, "Is there anything valuable?" He replied, "No clue. I'm looking to see if there's anything we can use before selling." Suddenly, Su-ho froze. "Wait, what's this?" He jumped up and rushed off. "I'm going to the mine for a bit. Help me stack this stuff up." Immediately, he dashed off as if chased by ghosts. Su-ho, clutching a book in his hand, looked around and called out, "Tords, where's Tordes?" Tords appeared with a tired face. "Were you looking for me?" He sighed in relief. "Yes, I have good news." Suho put a hand on his shoulder. "Do you remember the details of our contract? You working for 520 years? Tords replied softly, "Yes." A smirk formed on Suho's lips. "Actually, that's too far-fetched, like a joke. But from now on, you don't need to worry." Tords was stunned hearing Suho say that. He opened the book. What is written here is a way to resurrect a dead body. Tords' eyes glazed over, staring blankly at the book. Suho laughed loudly. "That means you can totally work for the next 520 years. Isn't that great?" But then his laughter stopped as he paused, feeling awkward. Suho stood there blankly. "Hey, why am I the only one happy about this? Laugh already?" He still stood there like a dazed cow. Then 2 lines of tears suddenly streamed down his face, looking incredibly miserable. Suho took a step back and snapped his fingers. "Forget it." He then ran off again. "Congrats!" The system displayed, "The King of Hell shivers at your character and is considering hiring you." Suho muttered under his breath, "Shut up, there's nothing wrong." And so he ran off, laughing like a madman, the screen displaying, "Makes sense." The scene shifts back to the mansion. Suho walks along, thinking to himself, "Now I need to discuss something with the Baron." He opens the door and looks inside. Nobody's here? Emily appears, saying, "The Baron is currently in the living room. A guest just arrived." Suho wonders, "Who is the guest?" She replies, "Sir Shalo and Meatloaf." Hearing that, he stands there stunned, his eyes wide open. Then Suho shows a very creepy smile. "What's with that face?" In the living room, a voice speaks up. "As you know, we have a policy of accepting your repayment in one lump sum only." Meatloaf adds, "However, this time, we can allow you to pay 10% of the principal." The fat man points his finger. "If you let us take over the mine." Arcus, resting his head on his hand and deep in thought, makes the man wonder, "Why aren't you answering? Isn't it a great deal for you when the interest is reduced?" Just then, Suho knocks on the door from outside, "Baron. It's Lloyd Frontera here. May I come in?" The Baron looks up. "Sure, come in." He peeks his head in with a friendly smile. "Long time no see. How have you two been?" Meatloaf waves the contract. "Get lost if you're here to threaten us again. Here's the permit." Suho keeps his radiant smile. "Of course, too smart of me, huh?" He clasps his hands together. "From what I overheard outside, it seems you have a rather good offer, so may I present a proposal too?" The guy mocks. "What? I don't want to hear a proposal from a kid like you." Suho persuades, "In the future, we will repay the debt bit by bit, but of course, the interest will drop a little." Meatloaf angrily points. "I said I don't want to hear anything. How dare you?" He smiles awkwardly. "You can make a proposal, but I can't. That's mad now." Suddenly, a fierce voice rises. "Who is it?" Greenfoot steps in. Hirosh, with a murderous look, enters. "Who made my brother Frontera angry?" This makes both of them horrified. He growls. "Anyone who bothers Frontera will be destroyed by the Steel Sand tribe." Suho pats the chest as strong as a plank of Hirosh, "My friend. What do you mean? It's nothing really." He denies, "Not like that. You look angry," Lloyd explains. "It's just because that old man's voice was too loud." Suho looks at the two men hugging each other and trembling. "Let them be. Now about my proposal?" He chuckles softly. "If you refuse my proposal." Then he shows a sinister smile. "You're done for with me." Hirosh threatens, "I'll tear you apart if you harm Frontera." The two men, out of sheer terror, rush out. Inside, Suho hands over the contract. "I still want to dodge debt, but that would be illegal. So you should be satisfied with this." Arcus softly replies, "Yes, it's fine. Thank you." He rolls up the paper. "The Ondal construction is expanding, and the Beedham coal mining is going smoothly. We should be able to repay them soon." Suho hands over the contract. "Take care of this contract." The Baron agrees. "All right." He hesitates, "But we have a big problem. If we don't solve it, it will get serious." Suho points at Hirosh. "These guys eat 10 times more than normal people," he says, making Arcus widen his eyes in shock. "Their food costs are no joke. But things would get more complicated if we let them leave now." The orcs didn't disappoint. They're amazing miners. Hirosh swung his axe with great force. He brought it down with all his strength. Suho rushed over, asking where everyone was. Someone in the army pointed and said loudly, "That orc hasn't rested for 24 hours straight." He ordered, "Get him out of here. Make sure he doesn't come back until tomorrow." As he was dragged away, he yelled, "I don't want to rest. I'll shrink. My muscles will waste away." Their productivity is 10 times what I expected. Their endurance and muscle strength are beyond imagination. Hirosh said, "Payment? You're talking about payment? Orcs don't need money. And they won't accept monthly wages either." However, he slapped his six-pack abs and said, "Just make sure we're well fed. This isn't a trivial issue." Suho sat calculating, "We need to raise taxes. A lot, actually." He decided, then use that money to buy meat for the orcs. Given the productivity at the coal mines, it's not a loss at all. Arcus stuttered, "I understand what you're saying, but..." He bowed his head and thought, "We don't know if the estate's people can afford it. This is quite difficult. We can't add more taxes." Suho smiled warmly. "It's like exploitation if we keep raising taxes like this. But what do they lose while we work hard? And I'll suffer if the tax revenue decreases." Arcus questioned, "So how do you propose raising taxes?" He casually replied, "Easy. I'll help them earn more money." Suho explained, "There's abandoned land north of the estate. We'll turn the Maras swamp into a farm." He pointed, "Hand it over to the people. They can farm as much as they want as long as they make money and pay taxes." The sunset cast a dreamy golden hue over everything. A foot stepped into the swamp, splashing water everywhere. Habiel was puzzled. "This land's been abandoned for over 100 years. How can you farm here?" Suho, leading confidently, said, "Your great master has it all planned out." He thought to himself, "Easy to say, but this is really tough." Suho sat down, hands on the ground, observing. "There's a lot to consider due to the vast terrain. We'll need a structure to drain rainwater quickly." He rolled the soil in his hands. No choice but to make it, replicating a model. Suho moved further to observe. "If I do this, it's a failure. Damn it, is this too high?" Then again, here, messed up again. Days passed, one after another. Suho became haggard, muttering something. Arcus asked, "How many days have passed?" Habiel replied, "It's been 21 days. He turned, asking, "He hasn't eaten or rested at all? Should I stop him?" He declined, "No need." Arcus spoke softly. "I used to hate him, even though I am his father. Will he become ordinary or not? I used to think that way." He watched the determined look on his face. But now, he's fighting for a miraculous change for the people's benefit. Arcus stated, "Maybe I can't help him, but I don't want to stand in his way either." Habiel turned and agreed. "That's a wise decision. For now, Master Lloyd." He looked at Suho's face, dripping with sweat, responsible for his words, and never giving up. The system displayed, "Baron Frontera's impression of you has increased. You gained 20 points. Current points, 931. Night quickly descended, covering the forest in darkness. He was now kneeling on the ground, his hands hanging down. Suho then raised his hand high, clenching his fist. He thought, "The swamp, the water will be drained correctly now.
As long as the water recedes, we can increase taxes.
Suho imagined the flow of sweetness. "Honey, welcome to me." But to others, he seemed like a madman sitting alone. His whole body collapsed to the ground, sighing in defeat. His lips curled up, exhausted, but still holding on well compared to working nights and doing part-time jobs. Suddenly, the system screen popped up. "Your unique experiences have significantly impacted your design skills, unlocking a new elective skill." Suho sat up suddenly. His personal elective design skill 3, simulation mode, allows data collection through measurement. His eyes lit up as he began to analyze. He placed his hand on the top of the chart. It suddenly shattered and fell like a rock. Suho shouted in anger. "You should have told me sooner. I've been working like crazy for a month now. Sure, I'm still okay, but do you know how hard it's been?" The system responded, "Skills can be enlightened through acquired insights, and this is due to your desire." He leaned back. "When I was new to this, did I wish for this? Be honest, you don't know, right? My coming to this world is related to my desire." Suho sighed. "I just wanted to graduate from college, get a diploma, work at a good company, and not worry about money. Wasn't that my wish?" The system stated, "That's just a goal. Your desire is much more intense. It's something that transcends space and time." He brushed the dust off himself. "If you're just going to talk about life's brevity, stop it, because right now I'm very busy." Suho called out, "Pudong Bell," and they quickly appeared on each shoulder. He said something that confused them. "Shall we meet your new friend?" Another calm but worrisome night passed as the sun rose over the mountain. Suho stood watching, the first step in the Merez project. He commanded, "You must drain all the water from the swamp and dispose of it." Seeing Pipodong's worried face, he said, "You two can't float, can you?" "Of course not." Suho put those two adorable creatures down. "That's why I'll withdraw now." He looked up. "I'll use all the points I have, summoning as many creatures as possible." Suho spoke, "Show me," and the system screen displayed. He thought, 100 points, because the price will increase 1.5 times for each new summon. Suho pressed the start button. "I can get 4 of them. I don't need any special skills." Thoughts flashed in his mind. Big creatures like Pipodong and Bell, it's enough to drain the water. This is still noisy as ever. Something peeked out from the spatial door. It jumped so quickly it was hard to see its shape. It bounced into Suho's face, making his nose bleed. Then it rolled onto the ground, looking like a golden ball. A cute creature popped out, making a sound, "Hippo." His eyes widened. "Hippo, don't tell me, a hippopotamus." The two other creatures introduced themselves happily. Pipodong, Bell. Hippo also quickly greeted, and all three played together and became fast friends. Suho sat down, breaking the joy. "Hold on, sorry to interrupt, but can I see the guide?" Hippo spat out something that left him helpless. "I'm used to this." Suho carefully picked up the wet piece of paper. He frowned. "Even if you eat sunflower seeds, you can't turn into a giant monster, huh?" Suho looked toward Hippo. This time, it's a total flop. He crossed his arms and looked really confused. The hippo just opened its mouth, showing a single tooth, and grinned. Suho glanced over. "I want to take back my words." The system showed, "You can only summon 1 creature a day." He swore, "What is this? Such a waste of time." At that moment, Bell snapped at Suho for making the hippo sad. He chuckled, "What? You think I'm mean?" Suho sat down and analyzed. "You know, our work is getting bigger and extending everywhere. Hippo is too small, so it's useless." Bell and Pipodong raised banners, "Protest, strike, regain the rights of the creatures. The boss must recognize the workers' value, strike for fairness." He gave up. All right, I'm scared now." Suho wondered, "What skill do you have, Hippo? Can you absorb the moisture from my clothes?" The system displayed, "Hippo's skill, 1-shot level 1. He was curious, 1 shot? Can you drink water in one go? How much?" It patted its chubby belly. Suho was surprised, 4 times your stomach capacity. He chuckled to himself. Every time a skill appears, it's exactly what I need. I'm insanely lucky. Heppo was extremely happy. Suho said, "Show us then." It quickly bent its head close and started sucking up the water. He stood watching quietly as it drank mouthfuls of water. This made Suho a bit puzzled. The hippo just kept swallowing the water. Now it had grown larger, making Suho doubt, is it my imagination, or does it look bigger than before? The water level dropped quickly below the surface. His eyebrows furrowed as he watched the hippo drink. Then he looked up. Now the whole hippo looked like a giant balloon, like it could burst any moment. Quickly, all the water disappeared into the hippo's mouth. After it was full, it lifted its head with extreme delight. The water in the lake was completely gone. Suho was amazed, his eyes and mouth wide open. He was utterly shocked. Drinking so much in such a short time means we can drain it all. Belle and Papadong smiled proudly, making Suho wonder, why do you guys look so proud? He smirked slyly. Hey, ladies, is this really random? These needed skills pop up like magic? The system showed, when you came into this world, your abilities were added one by one, right? Because if you were unlucky, it would be a huge disadvantage for you, so you got the lucky draw skill. He thought, maybe that's not true, and wondered, what? Are you picking your nose now? Hippo was still rubbing its belly. Suho was shocked. What? Can you still drink more? He put his hands on his hips and scoffed. Well then, drink until you're sick, because Murrez land will start developing tomorrow? Another estate appeared, and construction would begin with vertical drainage methods. Hippo's large size made the army open their eyes wide in amazement. First, Hippo will move all the water from the swamp. Then it will spray the water into the river and shrink back. Remove grass roots and vegetation remains from the ground. Habiel slammed a strike straight into the ground, exploding. Bore a hole in the ground and drive a bamboo stake, hammer it into the sand, and let Padong press it down. Once the water gathers in the bamboo stake, Hippo does a one shot. Next, he built a more complex earth bank using his simulation skill. 10 days passed like this, and a part was completed. Suho raised his hand and shouted, we still have a long way to go, but what should we do once the work is done? He raised a shovel. We'll have a big party. Let's do this, everyone. They all shouted, let's go. The scene then returned to a peaceful state with the gentle chirping of cicadas. Habiel stood silently, observing everything around him. He looked into the distance and pondered, this barren land is really turning into a farm, and then some. Habiel picked up a shovel. When did I start working on this project, and what's my mission? At that moment, Suho rushed over and called out, Xavier. He handed over a bag and pointed to the side. These seeds? Can you plant them from there to here? I'm a knight, why should I? To drive away all the insects and protect the manor. Fine. Then Habiel sat down and used a watering can to water the ground. Habiel was deep in thought. He keeps blocking me. Next time I must escape from this. A voice spoke up. The swamp is really turning into rice fields. Arcus approached. I bet the villagers think the same as I do. He concluded, it's truly a miracle. The villagers, though tired, still smiled warmly. Suho carried the shovel and walked on leisurely. The system displayed. The citizens of Baron Frontera's territory express admiration and respect for all the miracles you've created. You'll receive a large amount of points as a reward for your social achievements. Reward points based on social achievements, plus 450. Current points, 1,281. A subtle smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. In the sky, dragonflies hovered, reflecting Suho's mood. The rice sprouts grew straight, well-tended. Habiel still watered them daily. He couldn't hide his happiness. Suho spoke up from somewhere. It'll soon be complete, once we set up a water wheel. Habiel asked, a water wheel? He explained, the water will drain out with the water wheel when it rains. Otherwise, the swamp will flood again. Suho got up and stepped below. But a technician needs to come. Suddenly, a noise caught the attention of the two. A cavalry from some family was riding horses over. Suho asked, who are they?
Habil replied, that's Viscount Racona. He's from the north of the Merez swamp.
The hooves stopped with a loud neigh. Gareth spoke, who's in charge of this project? He sternly said, be polite, this person. The hand was held up to interrupt, it's me. Is there something you need here? The Merez swamp, though abandoned for centuries. But it's still under the management of Viscount Lacona of the north. Viscount Lacona, Merez swamp, Baron Frontera's land is in the south. He's clearly here to claim ownership of the land, planning to take advantage of this fertile land without lifting a finger. Suho was a bit annoyed. This old man kept insisting on claiming it back. The northern part did originally belong to Viscount Lacona. Suho's lips curled up. But things are different now, old man. Suho spoke up. So now, Viscount, are you saying we violated the land without permission? Is that what you mean?
Gareth replied, yes, Viscount. The land was granted to him by the king, so it is. His eyes grew cold. Don't you see this is a conversation between nobles? Why are you butting in? The man's face turned red with anger, veins visible. The group of peasant soldiers on the side was also stunned by what they heard. Rakona raised an eyebrow, showing his disdain clearly. Suho confidently stepped up and bowed politely. Excuse my manners for not introducing myself sooner. I'm Lloyd, the eldest son of the Frontera family. He smirked. With a brat like you, there's nothing to talk about between us. Call your father out here.
Habiel thought, how rude, while Suho simply shoved a finger in his ear as if to say he found it irritating.
Rakona demanded, didn't you hear me? Call Baron Frontera here at once. Suho replied, what? Oh no, I'm not deaf.
He flicked his nails, pouting. It's just the buzzing of the flies around here is so annoying.
Rakona looked around. Flies? Where? Gareth reminded him. He's insulting you, Viscount. Rakona was startled. What? Really? Suho continued, according to the Kingdom's Land Act, Article 321, the special law concerning the cultivation of abandoned land. He got furious. Wait, hold on. This brat is... Suho didn't care much for Rakona's words and said, Section 1, Purpose, the cultivation of long-abandoned land, establishing ownership over reclaimed land. He was extremely angry. What the heck are you? Suho interrupted. Section 2, Definition, the land abandoned for about 100 years, only areas without inhabitants or cultivation. Suho seized the moment to add, Section 3, Ownership, the land that meets all the above requirements is recognized as owned by the developer who cultivated it. Suho raised a finger. First, this is land developed with investment and labor. He continued, second, it is land that can support residential construction. Third, it can sustain long-term agricultural activity. Suho put his hands in his pockets and stepped forward. Fourth, the final point. He bent down and pulled up a plant. He uprooted a radish from the soil. The detailed regulations will take effect once the crops are harvested. This left Rakona grinding his teeth in anger.
Habiel's eyes widened in surprise.
Remembering he had once said, sow these seeds from there, this is how we can get rid of pests. Suho smiled brightly. Oh wow, congratulations sir, you're the first to witness the harvest in the history of the Marez swamp. We won't charge you for looking, don't be so sassy. The words hit the man like a bolt of lightning. He cursed inwardly, this sly brat. Was everything prepared beforehand? Suho handed the radish to him. Here, my lord, please accept this dear gift. Suho's lips curled into a sly smile. Now then, he then dropped the smile, showing a cold face. Would you kindly get off our land? Rakona stayed silent, trembling with anger. Right after, the Viscount's troops turned and left in frustration and indignation, but could do nothing.
Habiel wondered, how did you hear about them coming here? Suho looked confused. What do you mean?
He observed, we've seen types like these once or twice, scum that use others' effort. Suddenly, a loud cheer erupted from behind. The army raised their hands and cheered loudly. Master Lloyd has protected our land. This is amazing, top-notch. They kept praising. Well done. Suho felt powerless, thinking, how am I going to pay them? Get back to work.
Night fell quickly as the rain poured down, covering everything in white.
The rain created a strong rushing stream. He sat still under the rain, observing as summer passed and autumn brought heavy showers. The windmill blades were washed clean by the pouring rain. He had simulated this hundreds of times but knew it was best not to be complacent. He needed to check everything thoroughly until the end. He wondered if the Marez swamp was truly usable land. The next day, the sun was high, its light sparkling on the water droplets on the leaves. The water had receded, leaving the area dry as usual. Suho was still sitting there, and Habiel had put away the umbrella. The system displayed, Achievement, Great Construction. You have left a clear mark of civil engineering on the continent of Laurasian. You receive a large amount of skill experience points. Measurement skill upgraded to level 2, intermediate measurement level 3. Appraisal, scanning, design skill upgraded to level. Intermediate design level 3. Rendering plans, space planning 20 out of 30, simulation mode. He slowly pushed himself up. The screen showed stats and bonus points. Suho's lip curled up. Done. On to the next step. Meanwhile, on Viscount Lacona's side, Lacona slammed his hand on the table and shouted, What? Abandon the land improvement? Gideon bowed respectfully. Yes, protection rights will be free for 3 years, but they have to live there, so migration is restricted. He mumbled. Are you saying? Lacona's face was fierce. The people will risk everything to cultivate the land for the next 2 years because he's the owner because it's his land. He thought about the swamp and how the Marez swamp had become a golden egg-laying land. Suddenly, Lacona clutched his stomach with a terribly pained expression. Too painful, stomach ache. It's my land. Half of it is mine. I can't just give up this fertile land. He struggled to call out, Butler. Gideon responded, Yes, Viscount? Lacona gasped. Call the factory supervisor immediately.
Time passed, a few days later. Suho sat up, holding his head, cursing softly. He opened his eyes. Why does my head hurt so much? Is it exhaustion? Suho got out of bed. But I can't keep going like this. There's dividing and arranging to be done. He called out, "Hey, wake up, Xavier. Time to work." Suho looked somewhat surprised. He asked, "Why do you look so tired? So even nights get exhausted." Habil held his head too. "I've never felt like this before. My head, it hurts so much." Suho touched the side of his head, eyes wide open. Wait, his face turned confused. Not this. The estate looked so peaceful and lush with greenery. Emily, the maid of the Baron's family, spoke softly. "I'm sorry. I've had a headache since early this morning." A farmer from Alav village rubbed his head wearily. "It's not just me. My whole family and the kids have headaches too." Mihail, the boy who takes care of the cows at the farm, said, "Since yesterday, the cows haven't drunk any water. If this continues, they'll be dehydrated." Suho rested his chin on his hand, thinking, everyone in the village has problems, and the animals are avoiding water. His eyes glanced aside. So, the cause really is the water. Suho got lost in thought. One powerful weapon for my activities in this world is information. Blood and Steel Knight Balpa are working hard, but since the ant monster incident, I've realized there are things not mentioned in the novel's plot. If the prediction is correct, Lacona will seize Marez Swamp. After investigating many things in that direction, this hypothesis is quite strong. Lacona's main source of income is the mysterious dyeing technique and the fruit they use for dyeing. Thinking about this, Suho muttered a curse under his breath. His face looked fierce. "Damn you, Lacona, you old bastard." The scene shifts to the palace. Arcus asked again, "What did you just say?" Gareth replied softly, "This isn't that hard to understand, is it?" He demanded, "Transfer half of Marez's land. If you do, I'll stop discharging dye waste." He growled, "Are you threatening me?" Gareth smirked. "Yes, it's a threat." Arcus slammed his hand on the table. "Aren't you afraid of the law? I'll sue you in the kingdom's noble court." Gareth said nonchalantly, "Go ahead, perhaps the Baron will win the lawsuit." Gareth grinned wickedly. "But until a verdict is given, which will take at least 2 years, the court costs and water issues, can you endure until then?" Hearing this, Arcus felt furious and caught off guard. He stood up. Then, "I'll wait for your wise decision." Only after Gareth left did he speak up. "My son?" Arcus's face was full of anger. "The locals have worked so hard. I won't give up an inch to scoundrels like you." He bowed respectfully without saying more. Before he could say anything, Suho burst through the door, accidentally hitting him. Ignoring Gareth's pain from behind the door, Suho said, "I need to talk to you, father." Arcus called, "Lloyd." Suho bowed respectfully. "It seems the parasite in the adjacent area has tampered with the river. I want to discuss some countermeasures with you." Gareth yelled angrily, "Are you insulting my lord?" Suho was startled. "Wow, a swiftlet!" Suho yelled back angrily. "So the parasite can understand human language?" Hearing this, Gareth was filled with extreme anger. He drew his sword and shouted, "You've insulted a knight's honor twice. I demand a duel, naming it Kurno." But before he could do anything, Suho hit him repeatedly with a shovel, making Gareth scream, "I give up!" However, Suho showed no mercy, hitting him until Gareth cried, "Spare me, stop, don't hit me anymore." After a while, Suho stood there, breathing heavily. "Okay, I'm not mad anymore." Suho raised the shovel again and shouted, "But you dare disrespect the Baron's words." Arcus tried to stop him, but his face showed amusement. "Lloyd, you idiot, the duel is over." "What are you doing, son?" Habiel was a bit surprised. "This is the first time I've seen the Baron like this." The scene shifts to Rakona's palace. Rakona shouted, "Idiot, you went to threaten someone and came back a mess." Gareth returned, looking shameful. "What a disgrace." He pulled at his curly beard. "Wait a moment." Rakona sneered. "All right, well done. We've been defeated," he said, stunned. "Yes." Rakona pondered, resting his chin on his hand. "Anyway, the only thing the Count can do is file a complaint to the court. If we bring this case forward, it'll be against an arrogant, conceited noble." He let out a sinister smile. 3 years? No, the lawsuit could last up to 4 years. Suho also smirked wickedly. That ignorant old man must be thinking that. He thrust a shovel into the ground and shouted, "But our Baron Frontera won't be easily defeated like that." Suho raised the shovel. "Let's blow away their ugly jaws our way and defend the land of our blood and sweat." Determination was clear on his face. "We must protect it from malicious greed." Everyone around raised their hands high in agreement. Suho observed, "First, we need to build a reservoir to immediately solve the drinking water issue." He contemplated. The water supplied by the Hippo skill before it got polluted. The system showed, Hippo skill, 100% level 3. Habil spoke up. "That's a wise decision. However, neither you, young master, nor Hippo can rest even for a day. Yes, this is only a temporary measure.
Suho glanced over. From now on, I'll build a clean water system. He turned back toward the lake. From the Kapua Lake in the eastern mountain range to our territory, create a waterway. He worried. It's not just a normal distance. Just thinking about the labor involved, Suho interrupted. Of course, it's going to be expensive. Really expensive. He turned around to leave, but don't worry. Your brother will earn a lot from this construction. A corner of Suho's mouth lifted. 10 times. No, 100 times more.
Meanwhile, Rakona could only bite his fingers in anger and frustration.
Time moved forward a few months. He remained in that state, his body trembling more. Why, in the end, why, how now, what should I do now? At that moment, Gideon entered. Viscount, the eldest son of the Frontera family requests to see you, Rakona shouted. I'm busy now, tell him to go away. He stammered. They say perhaps you're worried about something lately, and they will help you solve it. In the brightly lit living room, the chandelier sparkled. Suho lounged on the couch, mocking. Why do you look so bright, Viscount? Rakona asked. Is there something you need? Suho repeated. Huh, didn't you hear? I'm here to give you love advice. He was taken aback. What nonsense are you talking about? I have things to think about. Suho grinned slyly. Be honest now, don't you know? He lowered his hand to prop himself up. Suho pointed a finger. The Viscount's dye factory is collapsing. Can it be saved? Hearing that, Rakona was extremely infuriated. He snarled fiercely. Indeed, it's because of you. The corner of his mouth curled into a very smug smile, listening to Rakona mumbling about ruining the dye factory. Suho leaned back in his chair, smiling sarcastically. It was indeed a long journey. He continued, thanks to the wastewater spill by that Viscount, I had to get water from Lake Kapua, far away. Suho spoke softly. By the way, at first I didn't know you were discharging wastewater. But the Viscount loudly claimed it was all your plan. So kind of you, otherwise I wouldn't have known. Anyway, I dug a water channel from the lake to my domain, carving and filling it up, all that hard work. Rakona slammed his hand on the table and shouted, Stop your nonsense. I just want to know what you did to my dye factory. Suho chuckled triumphantly. What's the rush? Just listen first. Suho taunted. But what now? There's a huge terrifying valley in the way. So what should we do? He waved his hand. That won't work. There's no other choice. But to build a bridge in the Roman style. We used limestone as building material and worked very hard. That's why there are limestone blocks scattered at the bottom of the valley. In the end, a huge limestone block appeared. Rakona shouted, Shut up! What does that have to do with my dye factory? Suho smirked. The water there is what flows into your dye factory. He glanced at the black fabric and Rakona's grimace. The elements in the limestone turned the fabric brown. Rakona slammed the table in anger, yelling, You brat! Aren't you afraid of the law? I'll sue you in noble court. Suho said casually, Go ahead, which made Rakona pause. He taunted, Before the verdict comes, it'll take at least 2 years. By then, who will remember the Viscount's product? Sweat dripped from Rakona's distorted face. You vile, worthless creep.
Suho stood up, resting his hands. If all your questions are answered, I should go now.
Rakona pointed and screamed, You've messed with the wrong person. Do you know how many people I know in the royal family? Rakona's anger peaked. I'll make you pay 1,000 times for my losses. Suho didn't say anything, just waved his hand dismissively. A bit of time passed again. Suho glanced over and asked, I don't quite understand. What?
Habiel chimed in. You only provoked and angered him. The Viscount has an advantage in a legal fight.
He noted. He really has many connections with the royal family. If it leads to a lawsuit, it'll cost a lot of money. Suho replied vaguely, Yeah, I know, I get it. Suho said softly, Just stay quiet and wait. Suho's lips curled up. Let's see who really ends up losing more. The estate returned to quiet peace.
Time passed. A month later.
Rakona had shed his fierce demeanor, kneeling and begging. I was wrong. Please save my dye factory. Suho remained cold-faced, sitting silently with crossed legs. He spoke icily. Your good friend said you don't stand a chance? Thinking to himself, what else? Clearly your failure is due to your intentional actions. Rakona sobbed, I was reckless, really sorry. Suho rested his chin on his hand. Well, what now? I don't much care for empty words. Rakona roared. Me, a Viscount. I've thrown away my pride and am begging you. Suho smiled crookedly. Pride? That isn't worth even 0.1 of a gold coin. Suho decided, in that case, I'll sell for 1,000 times that. He reached into his pocket for something. What I want isn't an apology. Suho pulled out a contract and pen, smiling warmly. It's simple, just a signature. The paper read, From Baron Frontera to Viscount Lacona, water supply contract.
It outlines that Viscount Lacona is Party A and Baron Frontera is Party B. This contract is established to set a definite fee for water supply to the dye factory and to establish construction regulations within the domain compliant with the following principles.
You said if the Viscount signs, the plumbing system will reach his dye factory in a week. He picked it up to read and froze instantly. He exclaimed excitedly, "Isn't this too expensive?" The water rate was unreasonable from the start. Suho asked, "Is it too unreasonable?" Your face turned grim, reminding me that it was you who taught me water isn't free. Rakona was shaking violently in fear. Dusk quickly settled over the surroundings. Arcus looked at the contract in disbelief. Really? Such a large sum will come in every month? He answered, "Yes, the Viscount signed it directly." He stammered, "With this money, it won't be long before the interest is paid off." Suho clapped, so lucky to know such a kind Viscount. You pondered. It was clearly a battle the Viscount lost in advance, even if it resulted in something good. Suho's face changed. At this point, I'm starting to look like a demon. The contract had no time limit, which means it's valid till that old man dies. You thought of Rakona, bound tightly. No, even when he dies, I still won't let him off. A determination appeared. I can't abandon this windfall halfway. Suho smiled wickedly, eyes like they wanted to devour. If money is like threads, I'll pull out each one. Arcus cheerfully said, "Yes, there's some good news for you." But he was a bit puzzled by your expression at that moment. What's wrong with your face? Does this father look scary? Suho quickly came up with an excuse. I'm sorry, I'm just a bit excited because I've been thinking about a few things. You adjusted your face as your father spoke, the old treasures you received from the Orc clan. Arcus informed. Count Cremo sent a letter saying he'll buy them back at a high price. Suho looked aside with dissatisfaction. You were a bit confused. That's odd. If he's such a powerful figure, he could buy new ones without a scratch, right? He calculated. Let's see. I'm not sure about the specifics. Arcus mentioned someone proposed to erect a bronze statue, transitioning to Cremo's commercial city. A burly man stood by the glass door looking out. This was Count Cremo. Night quickly covered the dim space, moonlight shining on the vast water. Suddenly, something started to rise from the water. Cremo furrowed his brows, observing closely. The strong water surface emerged like a huge human head. The creature let out an extremely loud roar, powerfully splashing water everywhere. He had a fleeting doubt about this monster. A monster emerged, the Kija Titan. Back at the palace, a voice was heard. A week after setting out, it was time to finish building the Lacona Territories system. Habiel continued, mentioning that to reduce construction worker costs, he would accompany about 10 people. Arcus, while trimming a tree, responded, I understand if that's Lloyd's decision. He closed the pruning shears, but didn't manage to cut any branch. He quickly realized something was off. Habiel reassured, please don't worry, I will always be by Lloyd's side. Arcus spoke gently. When the Viscount of Lacona came, threatening me to hand over half of the Marez wasteland. He added, if it had been not long ago, I would have surely been scared and let it go. But seeing Lloyd and the people pour their efforts into it, I mustered up all my courage. Arcus admitted, as a lord, I shouldn't be indecisive like that. But he was corrected. That's not true, Baron. Habiel recalled, you are warmer than anyone, always caring for others. Arcus turned and gave a friendly smile. Thank you for saying that, but having just that much doesn't make me a good lord. He continued, a leader must have faith and decisiveness, like Lloyd does now. Habiel quietly listened to Arcus's words. He thought to himself, that guy's faith is just money, sir. It's written all over his face. But, is it bad to pursue money? Then again, I'm almost becoming like him. Suddenly, he turned to his deputy. Xavier, your task is no longer to supervise Lloyd. Arcus ordered, I will entrust you with protecting Lloyd, the heir of the territory. Although Habiel had some questions, he didn't show them. Habiel placed his hand on his chest, accepting the assignment. I received the order. Lloyd Frontera was clearly saving the Baron's territory like a miracle, yet he completely disliked the man. Once Arcus asked, Xavier, what do you want to be in the future? I'll help you with anything within my capacity. At the time, Habiel was young, so he was still shy about his thoughts. Later, he summoned all his courage to express, I want to become a knight to protect you, Baron. He patted his head. Thank you. Arcus praised, you are the child who bravely survived that harsh winter alone, so you will become the strongest knight in the world. The Baron gave him the wooden sword made with his own hands, and that wooden sword. Suho laughed cheerfully. You, an orphan knight? He shouted, dream on, get real. You're just a dull factory chicken. He finished his sentence by stomping and breaking the wooden sword in two. Meanwhile, Habiel was leisurely putting on his coat. A sound caught his attention. Habiel quickly noticed the broken sword being displayed on the shelf. He couldn't totally like that person.
Suho clapped his hands with a friendly smile. Welcome, my guest. Thank you for coming to experience the Frontera-style sleep service today. He started, without me, you can't live, right? Wow, you're addicted to me. But listen to me first or this service stops immediately. Habiel complained, I'm so tired of this. Let's start quickly. Suho gestured and rambled in languages that couldn't be translated, or in other words, nonsense. It was clear he had to hate that person as he hugged a pillow, sighed, and listened to his chatter all afternoon. On and on, Suho's faces with different expressions came into view. It felt like a completely different person. He snapped his fingers. Okay, fine. At this point, he had quickly drifted off into a deep sleep, hating himself for thinking Suho was a good person. Night quickly covered the whole space. Both of them just went to sleep, ending a day full of thoughts. At that time, someone with a covered face sneaked in through the door. It was Gareth with a fierce face, Lloyd Frontera. It's all your fault, he growled, his teeth clenched. Gareth jumped up, raising his sword high, ready to strike down at Suho.
Die. The sword thrust down quickly and forcefully.
But Habiel appeared swiftly, attacking with the speed of wind. He sliced directly across Gareth's sword. Instantly, Gareth's sword snapped in two. Suho heard the noise and opened his eyes, confused. He sat up, bewildered by the scene before him. The night passed quickly, and it was morning. Suho shouldered his shovel and shouted, What's most important now? Safety comes first. Habiel spoke up from behind. Young master, we've identified the man from yesterday. Thanks for the effort, Suho replied. Habiel wondered, why did he target you? Suho answered, the Baron fired him because the construction and water taxes were costly. Suho sighed. Anyone would feel the same. Losing a well-paid job suddenly. He turned to leave. So he targeted me for revenge? Such shallow thinking. Habiel was puzzled. You mean you guessed it already? Suho replied. Not exactly, but it makes sense, doesn't it? Habiel hesitated. It's good that you're all right. A thought crossed his mind. If it was foreseen, shouldn't we have been better prepared? Suho started to pay attention again. He glanced back. What did you just say? Suho turned and said, with you by my side, what do I need to prepare for? This remark left Habiel stunned. Suho pointed casually, with you here, I can do what I like. You're capable and reliable. Su added, normally, a 5-year-old who's lost family and villagers in a monster attack wouldn't survive winter alone. Did you ever think you could get through without anyone's help? Suho's lips curled up. That's the ability of the knight standing next to me. What could be more reliable? Habiel's eyes widened in surprise, like a child being praised. Both of them then fell into a reflective silence. Suho complained, are you too embarrassed to speak? I'm regretting those cheesy words now. Habiel's lips twitched into a smile. Habiel had never felt so flustered. Sensing the decency in the person, Suho praised, oh, well done, our Xavier did great. Feeling frustrated with himself, the system displayed, Xavier Asrahan has resolved the long-held conflict in his heart. Suho turned and looked back. If the pipeline construction finishes tomorrow, let's get ready to head to Cremo and make a lot of money, he urged. A little time passed. Suho's group kept moving forward. While Habiel was focusing on riding, Suho dozed off, resting his head on Habiel's shoulder. Habiel, either on purpose or by accident, nudged Suho and made his head jerk back. Suho woke up groggy, asking, did you just hit me? Habiel denied it. No, I didn't. Did you see me hit you? No, but I felt it. You were just leaning your head to the side. Habiel teased. How do you expect to ride a horse with someone who's dozing off behind you all the time? Wow, now you can even read minds. Suho replied, did you really hit me? Habiel denied again. No way, maybe you were dreaming. Suho raised his hand dramatically and said, oh, Mighty Lloyd has suffered too much. Stop it right now. After the horse stopped, Suho jumped to the ground. He put his hands on his hips and said, teach me how to ride a horse. Habiel arrogantly refused. I don't want to. I'm a knight, not a riding instructor. The system displayed Xavier's inner voice. His eagerness to learn from his shortcomings is truly admirable. Suho said sternly, that's an order. Lloyd's inner voice appeared. I'll study hard, working hard is like eating soup for me. Habiel reluctantly got off the horse. Fine, let's give it our best. Suho was puzzled. What did you just say? Thanks, Xavier. The system displayed, you're like an angel, both in face and heart. Suho turned and shouted, hey, it's been noisy as hell. Clear out, you guys. Habiel scolded softly. Why are you making such a big deal? Are you nuts or something? The system screen appeared, leaving him very confused. Rumors often spread faster than words. Rumors about the construction of the first clean water source on the continent are spreading quickly. The reputation of the builder is rising, and your name will be recorded in the kingdom and continent's building history. Reward points plus 600, current points 2,275. After reading this, Suho couldn't help but be surprised. Is this pure rice cake? He thought, so, that means in the future, I might get bigger projects, right? Fame equals money, almost enough to enjoy retirement now. Suho smirked. A golden future is approaching.
Habil wondered, first you're mad, now you're laughing. Are you crazy or what? He muttered to himself. Image ruined.
The journey to Cremo was indeed long. The closer they got, the more winter approached. It would be nearly winter by the time they reached Cremo. Cremo began, "You've traveled a long way to get here. I am Count Cremo, the lord of this city."
Habil and Suho respectfully greeted. Greetings to Count Cremo. I belong to the Frontera family. Cremo laughed. You're quite different from what I imagined.
Cremo spoke softly. "I heard you're a very capable builder. I thought you'd be taller, but your noble demeanor." He turned to Habiel. "You look like nobility. If you told me you were royalty, I'd believe it." He asked, "Do you have someone to marry?" Suho called softly, "Hey, Count." Cremo, pushing further, said, "If not, why not try courting my daughter?" Suho replied, "Sir Count." He turned back, raising his voice. "What? How rude. What servant interrupts a noble conversation?" Suho's face darkened with visible anger. "Servant? A servant's face?" By now, the snow was covering everything outside. Cremo laughed, holding his forehead. "I made a big mistake." Trying to suppress his laughter, "I apologize. Please forgive me." Suho bowed slightly. "It's okay. I'm calm about it." The system displayed, "Your biggest mistake is his face." He grumbled internally. "This old man is annoying. Should I punch him?" Cremo continued, "But you too are at fault. Why were you born with such a face and body?" Suho was irritated. "Shut up, old man." The lord of the trade city, Cremo, Count Cremo, was quite an important figure in both Blood and Steel Knights.
Xavier was on the run after beheading loan sharks, Shalo and Meatloaf. He was caught by the Count right here in Cremo.
But the Count understood Xavier's character with just a few words and decided to actively participate as a sponsor. Cremo concluded, "Your purchase of gemstones is for decorating the bronze statue by the sea." Suho was curious. "A bronze statue by the sea?" He rubbed his forehead. "Currently, our trade activities in Cremo are down by 25.6%. Cremo recounted, since a few years ago, Kijatitan started appearing on the shore near the port. He propped himself up. "Even though I never suffered direct harm, its mere existence was terrifying enough." Suho observed and thought to himself, "With just that little bit of information, there's no way to attack when under the sea. Even if the Navy is here, it won't help." He thought about it. Cremo was gradually falling apart. The Count was in crisis. Xavier might tell me something, but the story ends on an open note, leaving everyone to guess. It's frustrating. Xavier then lifted the sword decisively, the end. Sincere thanks to all the readers who have loved Blood and the Steel Knight up to now. I'll try to improve even more in the future. I have no idea if there will be a part 2. Suho's eyes went cold. The first time he set foot here, he thought he had grasped the whole story of the novel. However, the parts not mentioned in the content are still ongoing. Cremo spoke up. "I've researched a lot of materials on how to drive it away and found out something important. Mermaids, the mighty warriors who dominate the sea, are the symbols of fear haunting Kijatitan." He sighed. "That's why I came up with the idea. It only needs to see the shape of a mermaid to be scared." Cremo concluded, "We need to erect a mermaid statue in the middle of the sea." He waved his hand and shook his head. "But now I've given up on that idea." Suho responded quietly, "Yes." Cremo gave his reason. "If you have to fill the water to build the statue, wouldn't the water be too shallow for ships to come and go?" After hearing that, Suho fell into a state of contemplation. He let out a big laugh. "Don't worry too much. Although there's no longer a need for the pile of jewels, since I promised, I will still buy them." Suho denied. "No, I can't do that. Don't bear the loss alone like that." Cremo was puzzled, "Huh? You mean you're not selling the treasure?" He reckoned, "I will sell it, if possible, at a very high price." Suho's lips curled up. "And I will erect a bronze statue for you. Of course, it will be at sea and won't affect the water level." He pondered, a hexagonal column and an empty barrel. If the two methods are combined, it might work. Suho leaned against the side of the boat, taking a big gulp of air. Then he puffed his cheeks and plunged underwater. His analytical gaze appeared quickly. Luckily, the seabed was mostly flat. Thanks to the rich sediments, the softness was just right. His entire body was shivering from holding his breath. The soft rock, could it be deeper down? Even so, it's okay. Just as he was about to run out of air, Suho managed to surface, his face having turned purple from lack of oxygen. My face. His whole body was pale and trembling. He looked at Habil and asked, "What's up? Why do you look so pleased?" He answered, "Sorry, this is the first time I've ever felt this happy seeing someone's pain." Hearing that, Suho suddenly froze. He handed over the face mask.
Measure this, Habiel questioned. Either way, is this contract all right? Suho reiterated, don't change the subject.
Habiel continued to push and drain water. I always think like this, but still can't imagine it. Didn't expect to build an upright pillar on the seafloor.
He spoke softly. Before you do magic. Suho interrupted, magic can also be like that. Suho's lips curled up, cement magic. He thought to himself, the issue is how to make cement in this world. If it's Roman-style cement, it can definitely be made, clearly. Habiel helped Suho onto the shore. Please, don't be careless and fall in there. Suho grumbled, you really are a master of few words, aren't you? Suddenly, a shout rang out over there. A girl holding a letter walked up. Lloyd, Frontera, I have something to say to you. Suho blushed and stood there. Yes, who? The girl introduced herself saying, hello, I am the daughter of Count Cremo. Yesterday, I saw Sir Lloyd walking across the mansion grounds. Christine shyly licked the edge of the letter and called out, Sir Lloyd. Suho stood frozen, witnessing this for the first time. With all her courage, she held out the letter, saying, please take it. But in fact, she handed it to Habiel instead. Suho had somewhat predicted this would happen, and his face turned stiff like a wooden plank.
Yes, Habiel sighed as he took the letter.
Suho expected it would happen, but Habiel just put it into his coat pocket. Christine shyly turned and ran away, thinking, he took it. Unbelievable. Both stood there looking confused, not understanding what happened. Habiel started to walk away, and Suho called out, wait, you scoundrel! Suho said through gritted teeth. You act as if it's no big deal. Don't you find it disgusting? Habiel, confused, asked, what are you talking about? When you received that love letter, you just accepted it like that. Then Habiel asked calmly, so what? Is there a problem? Suho was baffled. What? Habiel replied, what? Suho was equally confused. What? Suddenly, Habiel realized something and exclaimed, oh! Suho furrowed his brows in confusion as a big question mark appeared over his head.
Habiel covered his mouth, whispering, no, don't tell me you have never received a love letter before.
Suho's face showed extreme annoyance. Habiel looked aside awkwardly and stammered, how should I say this? Suho encouraged him, saying, hey, cheer up. While the system displayed, Xavier sincerely encourages you. Suho whimpered with a distorted, ugly face. He frantically tapped on the screen, thinking to himself, I'm not jealous, not at all. I will become rich. I will make a lot of money. Suddenly, Cremo called out, hey Lloyd, and Suho turned back with an angry face, yelling, what? Cremo wondered, what's with that face? Soon after, Suho returned with a cheerful expression and ran up. Sorry, Count, I didn't know you were here. I was focused on my specialty. Cremo sighed, relieved. I thought you were a killer for a moment. Crossing his arms, Cremo said, I just wanted to say that most of the materials you requested are easily obtainable, but volcanic ash is different. Suho thought for a moment. That's the main material for Roman cement. Roman cement had outstanding advantages. At the time, any building was maintained for up to 2,000 years later. Its durability was unmatched. Cremo disagreed. It's not that it's impossible, but you have to go to a place with a volcano. His tone grew serious. The problem is, the journey takes half a year. It takes too much time. Suho reassured him. Don't worry, Count, because there's another way. In his head, he thought, Plan B, abandon the hunt for Roman cement and take a detour with Portland cement. Portland cement, the beginning of modern cement. He only knew roughly how to make it, but lacked detailed knowledge. He held up a piece of paper, eyes determined. If you don't know what to do, you can always try first. I'll try everything. Outside, the snow continued to fall, covering the entire town. A chunk of ice broke on the floor. Oh dear. Suho kept scribbling on the paper, muttering, test sample 129, failed. I think it's almost there if mixed in the right ratio. He calculated various things. No, the drying process might be the issue. Add 4 more cases then. 3 creatures just stood watching their master mumble. Apply another 12 multipliers here, 48 times one of these things. They seemed hungry, making soft, wailing sounds. Padong climbed onto his shoulder, rubbing its cheek against Suho. But he didn't care. I'm busy, can't go for a walk. Both Hippo and Belle climbed up too. No, busy, he shouted angrily. I told you I'm really busy. A cute white dog appeared. Suho's eyes widened in surprise, like a deer in headlights. He saw it lying on a coffin, covered completely. Its paw was sticking out, not moving. An image of utter sadness and tragedy. Tears fell. It was the last of his family. Sorry, he wanted to brush its fur one more time, to play with it once more, he said. Suho knelt down and hugged the 3 kids. Let's go. You're more important than this research. The night quickly fell over the area. 1 person and 3 cute animals walked under the bright moon. He spoke up. I'm such a jerk. The 3 little ones looked back at him, confused. Suho said softly. Things were going smoothly, so I just kept giving orders like you were a bunch of machines. He laughed a bitter laugh. I'm a fool unlike anyone else, and I want to regret this so much. Suho paused, stopping mid-step. He sat down, looking at the three little ones. Suho smiled warmly. Thanks, all because of you guys. The three just watched him babble nonsense. A system message showed up. The fantasy creatures can feel your sincerity, treating each other as family. Empathy level with fantasy creatures, family relationship. After reading it, Suho was a bit surprised. What? The screen displayed empathy level with fantasy creatures, family relationship. Function, Enhance Bell, activated, equipping new skills through Enhance Bell, requires 500 RP points. He smirked. Is this a benefit I didn't even think of? All three excitedly yelped. Suho asked, do you want me to give you new skills? All right, if you say so. He thought, whatever skills appear, they will surely have some use. Activate the Enhance function. Please select a fantasy creature to enhance. Even a useless skill is what Bell wants. Bell lit up, floating in the air. A bright light flared up, startling him. A beam of light surged, astonishing Suho. What is that? The system message showed. Enhancement successful. Enhancement level +1. Rewards for new skills have been restored. Earth digestion, steel releases, both at level 3, volcano eruption at level 1. He gasped, eyes wide open, mouth agape.
Volcano eruption. Level 1. Suho praised. Amazing, alright.
The scene shifts to the commercial city of Cremo. The snowfall gets heavier, covering the entire city. Suddenly, a massive explosion occurs, sending thick black smoke spiraling into the air. Everyone is shocked, looking up in surprise. Cremo, too, peers out the window, unable to hide his surprise. Once the fire dies down, only smoke and ash remain rising. However, that's actually the vapor released by Bell. Suho, with his ears still covered, looks up. He thinks to himself, it's a success. It's really volcanic ash. Suho laughs joyfully. See, Xavier? Praise me, come on, Xavier. Not hearing a response, he calls, can you hear me? Habiel turns and asks, what? Suho shouts, sorry, I forgot to tell you to cover your ears. Suho moves closer and yells, you're such a pain, you know that? Habiel sighs, not as much as you, young master. He asks, did you hear that? Habiel repeats, what? Thanks to Bell, the cement issue was quickly resolved. Suho can't contain his excitement. In the construction world, speed is everything. Let's start. The first step, create and equip Bell with a seamless diaper to filter volcanic ash. A 5-layer sieve is attached to the end of the diaper to filter volcanic ash. He covers his ears again and urges, do it, Bell. Bell's eruption skill is activated. Everyone covers their ears again. Do it, Bell. Cremo muses. This goes beyond normal construction skills, involving skills I've never heard of, even summoning skills. He looks toward Bell and Suho. I'll have to see how you handle this one. Cremo thinks, then notes he'll have to inform the new king. If he's truly as talented as rumored, it would be a waste to leave him in the countryside. After collecting the cement materials, the next step is to create a caisson to pour the cement into. The caisson is acquired. Water inside the caisson is moved using only a hippo box. Step 3. Habiel is now delivering a powerful downward strike, driving the friction tubes to the ocean floor inside the caisson. He asks, when's the next stake? Suho replies, hold on, it's really hard to do. He finishes speaking with a goofy smile. Habiel turns back and asks, what's with that expression? Suho explains, no, I really want to hear you say, I am a knight. Why do I? He turns to leave. I'm a knight. Why should I be driving stakes? Suho is confused. You're my escort knight, aren't you? Suho quietly says, Xavier, if you don't drive them, I can't make cash. Then we can't pay off the land debt. If I get stressed, the Baron will be upset too. If you collapse, the Baroness will fall sick, right? He persuades, Sir Knight, please protect our family, Sir Knight, please. Immediately, Habiel delivers another powerful downward strike. After completing regular training, Xavier created a framework reinforced with rumbling steel underneath. Finally, pour the prepared cement in. Then the caisson will be removed once the cement has hardened. The artificial seabed is complete. Suho speaks up. It's 50 centimeters above sea level at high tide. If you place a mermaid statue there, it'll float on the water. Cremo observes, indeed. He said, actually, I still can't believe it. Can the ground really support the statue's weight if it succeeds? Cremo's lips curled up. Then I won't be disappointed with the construction costs. He bowed his head and chuckled softly. As night fell, the water continued to lap against the waves. A beautiful scene appeared in the heart of the ocean. The image of the mermaid statue appeared. At the party, music was playing melodiously. Laughter and chatter filled the air. Suho loosened his collar. It was too tight. He turned and asked, do you always wear clothes like this? Hybel replied. You talk as if it's your first time wearing them. I remember you've worn them to several events. Suho smiled, dissatisfied. No, it's been a while. So sensitive. Cremo called out loudly. Everyone, please pay attention over here. Everyone turned towards the two people. This young man contributed greatly to building the mermaid statue. Is that so? You've done very well.
Voices of gratitude rang out. You truly are a noble person. Your skills and face are perfect. I shake your hand, just a handshake. Suho thought, I'm really smart. Of course, I knew everyone would come here. I'm not envious. I prefer cash over compliments. Habil observed, those expressions are really annoying. Go play somewhere else. Don't look at me. No sympathy at all.
He laughed loudly. It's all because of your face. He cursed under his breath. This guy is really annoying. Cremo spoke up again. Everyone, he's the one who made the seabed. People were amazed. What? I thought it was a servant. The boat lit up under the night sky, waves crashing against its sides. The bustling joy dispelled the silence of the dark night. Suddenly, something large was approaching the group from the ocean floor. It rose up as a water-covered tent. A sharp head emerged. That was Kijataitan. Its eyes looked toward the mermaid statue. The two eyes of Kijataitan shone like car headlights. Our sworn enemy, the mermaid statue, sparkled under the moonlight. It slowly dove down below, gradually disappearing very quietly. It moved like a silent diving army. He was alone. Kijataitan rushed with incredible speed. Kill it, now heading straight for the ships. Suho and everyone were still unaware, laughing and chatting happily. Habil was still surrounded by admirers. Kijataitan appeared strongly. The party on the boat kept going. Everyone was unaware of the terrible thing about to happen. He sat on the ship's edge, sipping wine and deep in thought. Habil held the glass to his lips. Suddenly, a faint tremor shook his hand, holding the sloshing red wine. He paused, eyes thoughtful. Habil looked back out at the sea. It was still calm under the bright moonlight. Suddenly, Suho came over, asking what he was doing and why he was sitting so still like a statue. When he didn't get a response, Suho added with a laugh that he hadn't meant Habil looked like a statue, urging him not to ignore him like that. Habil replied softly, saying something was coming. Suho turned to look at the sea. Beneath the water, the Kijataitan was racing toward them. Confused, Suho asked what was coming. Habil said he wasn't sure, but it was coming very fast. Suho asked about its size. Habil estimated it was about twice the size of their ship, a bit larger than a full-grown hippo. Suho cursed angrily. At that moment, it surged out of the water, sending a massive spray everywhere. He turned back, reaching out, saying, Count, over here. Cremo asked, Lloyd, how are you enjoying the party? Suho quietly mentioned it seemed a Giga Titan was approaching, urging a warning and evacuation right away. The Count turned, calling for Ginevon, who approached and answered, Yes, Count. Cremo glanced back, asking if Ginevon sensed any unusual movements in the distance. Ginevon looked out, but the sea remained calm, without even a ripple. Ginevon reported feeling nothing out of the ordinary. No, Count. Cremo assured him, saying Ginevon had a supernatural sense from a swordsmanship syndrome, urging them to trust him. Suho was frustrated, arguing that Xavier was even more sensitive, wondering if Cremo was pretending to be in charge when there was no convincing evidence. Cremo reassured them not to worry, saying no Giga Titan had ever come this far in recent years, and there was no reason for a sudden attack. Suho glanced to the side. What is that? Seems like... Suho and Cremo looked up at the mermaid statue. Cremo seemed to notice something too. The two young men's faces showed determination and caution. Ginevon added, he didn't know what made them feel that way, but his senses... Cremo interrupted, ordering them to weigh anchor and move the ship away from the mermaid statue. The Kijataitan was rushing toward them at top speed. Everyone scrambled to weigh anchor. Hurry, quick! Habil noted it was too late. Suho whipped around, ordering Xavier to fix the anchor. Immediately, he sensed the danger growing closer. Habil jumped up to the deck. Then he leapt off, sword in hand. Above, someone threw Padong, saying, Padong, you're up. It started chewing seeds as it flew. It started nibbling on the seeds while flying. Padong's whole body swelled up and immediately clung to the mermaid statue. Below, Habil was swinging his sword, ready to cut the anchor. He unleashed a powerful slash. The slash exploded, and the anchor instantly snapped. Above, Popodong also bit through the anchor rope. The boat quickly started moving as waves slammed powerfully against its sides. Habil kept swinging his sword, cutting through the chain. More powerful slashes followed. Suddenly, he stopped and turned back, sensing something. At that moment, the Giga Titan charged in. Habil's eyes widened in shock. It was so fast. Up above, loud shouts echoed, telling everyone to scatter. The Titan opened its mouth with sharp teeth and surged up, smashing into the boats. Suho was flung out so far that he yelled, Mom! Padong was also thrown off. The strong current pushed everything against each other, and even the mermaid statue couldn't hold. Habil rushed in from below, his sword shining brightly. He quickly caught Suho, who was in free fall. The mermaid statue was hurled into the city. It fell with such force that everyone inside ran in panic. Pieces of the statue flew everywhere. Huge figures smashed down big buildings. People in the sea cried out, "Help me! Ellen, where are you?" Standing on the boat, Suho shouted, "We can't save everyone." Suddenly, he remembered something. Suho immediately called out, "Hippo!" He tossed it, and in one gulp, Hippo quickly dove beneath the seawater. Immediately, Hippo sucked in the water. Its whole body swelled as it absorbed the water. By now, the Giga Titan was already demolishing the city inside.
Habil panicked. "Young master, a Giga Titan is speeding toward the city. We must stop it."
But he paused as he saw Suho steering the board somewhere. Habil shouted in surprise, "Where are you going? The Giga Titan is in another direction." Suho turned back. "Why get involved in this? Are you crazy, trying to fight that monster?" Upon hearing that, Habil's face went blank, eyes wide open. Cremo shouted from above, "Hurry up, the water pressure is dangerous. Rescue everyone as fast as you can. Don't delay even a second." People in the water were yelling, "Help us, over here." By now, the Kijititan had destroyed the entire city. People were running everywhere. "It's dangerous, run quickly." Suho called out loudly, "What are you doing? Come here quickly, hang in there are still people here." Habil panted, "Are you planning to abandon those who need help?" He sharply analyzed, "We're here to make money, not to wrestle with monsters and keep the peace. The army and cannons are already in the city. They'll be fine even without your help." He froze, eyes wide open. Thoughts filled Habil's mind. Sir Lloyd Frontera, in life and death moments, he showed his wisdom. He showed perseverance and never gave up. He didn't turn his back on challenges. He truly was that kind of person. But then Suho shouted, disrupting his thoughts, "We've got so much work. Why should I protect someone else's city? Let's go. Now's not the time to play hero." He concluded, "After all, this is who he truly is." The system displayed, "Xavier's favor with you has decreased by 5, pity for you increased by 1. The relationship with the main character slightly decreased, but RP points were unaffected. Current RP is 1,901. Habil drew his sword. His eyes were determined. "We'll handle this." Suho's vision darkened. "This guy, justice freak, you'll die, don't go." Habil jumped up, swinging his sword, ready to attack. He lowered his sword, skimming across the water like a board. His power exploded. Habil glided smoothly but very quickly. It was like he was surfing on a vast sea. A loud shout came from above. "The troops, get ready!" Fire! The barrels aimed straight at the Kijatitan. Shots were fired repeatedly at its body, but it was like mosquito bites on steel. The army was terrified. This thing isn't scratched at all?
It opened its mouth and growled, "Kill."
And so, the Kijatitan charged powerfully. It unleashed a powerful attack aura. The entire battery was shattered. The Kijatitan's eyes gleamed. Kill. It was heading straight into the city's depths, especially towards the broken mermaid statue lying scattered there. Mermaid. Kill. Everyone ran in panic. "Help! Run fast!" A man fell down. "Help!" He cried out, but then its claw was ready to strike down. Habil appeared and unleashed a slash. The slash exploded, a blazing blast of fire. His sword struck straight at its claw. But it didn't faze Habil. So what if it's not effective? The Kija Titan was really angry now, lashing its tail. It opened its enormous mouth and roared. "Kill." He stood below, looking up, ready to defend. Its giant claw crashed down beneath. Habil quickly jumped up to avoid the strong impact. However, it didn't let up and continued chasing him. The Kija Titan launched an attack directly at Habil. He raised his sword to block it, eyes shut tight, accepting the hit. Not good. Habil was knocked back with great force. He slammed into the wall behind, crying out in pain. Then he fell to the ground, the hard fall kicking up dust. He propped himself up with his sword, teeth clenched, looking up. It kept advancing to finish him off. "Good! It took the bait," Habil muttered. "Yes!" He thought, "I know I'll never beat a monster like this. I might die here, but I'll fight until the civilians escape." Meanwhile, on the boat, Suho was smiling smugly. He pushed the table away, saying, "I told you, you're not the only main character in this novel. No matter how much RP I have, my skills are in construction. What can I do? Leaving wouldn't matter." Suho spoke softly. "I'm human too. It pains me to see the city destroyed and people hurt. What do you mean? What can I do?" The city was destroyed and everyone was injured. He stopped pushing the boat. Suho fell into deep thought,
his expression complex. If I run away like this, the city will be destroyed, and if I let it be destroyed,
It seemed Su-ho was having second thoughts. He clenched his teeth tightly. Su-ho shouted, "Let's go back, Belle. Who will pay for the reconstruction?"
Bell released a puff like a volcanic eruption.
He yelled angrily, "Just wait, you damned lobster." Inside, Habil was still struggling against it. The Kijatitane didn't back down and charged to attack again.
he quickly dodged and successfully avoided the attack.
Habil raised his sword, ready to strike. Every living thing is like this. He realized, the weak point is the eye. But of course, it was nothing compared to its rock-hard pincers. The Kijatatan even swung its tail to attack again. Its tail whipped straight at Habil. A shout rang out, "Hippo strike!" Hippo had appeared. It slammed its massive body down below. The entire Kijatatan crashed hard onto the ground. Then it spewed water and Hippo's body shrank. It turned back into a tiny form, sitting on Suho's head. His eyes were filled with menace as he shouted, "Don't touch my money." The scene quickly grew silent again, with the city left in ruins. Habil jumped up in anger, sword held high. The sword, filled with power and energy. He swung it down, but it only made a loud clanging sound, like two metals clashing. Habil cursed under his breath, wondering why it wasn't working. Landing on the ground, he thought he couldn't find its weakness and wouldn't win this battle. Yet, a question lingered in his mind. Why was he feeling strangely calm? Maybe it was because Liod was here. He had returned, paving the way to victory. Going back 2 minutes and 30 seconds earlier, Pipadong rushed toward the city. It leaped from rooftop to rooftop. Above, Suho shouted, "Pabodong, go around, don't get too close. Make sure the creature doesn't notice us." He thought, I need to find its weakness. At that moment, Habil was striking down, yelling for it to die. His anger unrelenting, he shouted for its demise. Suho gritted his teeth, observing. Xavier's attack was useless too. What is this creature made of? It's so strong. Suddenly, it struck him. What was it made of? Right. His eyes widened. If it can? His mind lit up, analyzing, measuring. The weakness was instantly revealed. He quickly analyzed its structure. Suho smirked, realizing he could measure a living creature. He thought, that horn is mixed with chitin, a meter thick. Suho calculated, at a molecular level, there are 3 overlapping honeycomb structures. All were tightly connected, like wearing a bulletproof vest. With fury, he plunged his sword, shouting at the creature. The powerful attack struck Kijatitan. The flow on its body formed, but also created cracks like shattered glass. Suho watched, wondering what that was. The damage from Xavier's attack was converging at one point. A focal point appeared. His eyes lit up, realizing the horn accumulates and releases energy. Cut off the horn first. The system displayed simulation mode as Suho speculated that this was where the creature stored water to attack, wondering if it could be destroyed. The mana sheathing quickly shattered below. He was convinced they could defeat the creature. Habil shouted, "Young master, what should I do?" Suho snapped his fingers. With the other hand, he made a signal. Habil was stunned. "Are you crazy?" Suho yelled in frustration, "The horn, Dad, the horn! Cut it off, old man!" At that moment, its massive claw was coming down on Habil. But he jumped to the side to avoid it.
Habil flipped in midair, its claws slamming into the wall.
He realized, just cutting the horn isn't enough, as he leapt onto the creature's back. But sir, Habil flipped over and descended below, landing directly on its body. Habil prayed, hoping this time he was right. His eyes filled with killing intent, as he charged and shouted fiercely. Suho yelled, "Listen, Xavier, no matter how hollow the horn is, it won't be easy to cut. The energy circle isn't always perfect." From above, he asked, "So what do you want me to do?" He shouted, "Sometimes you just need to spin at full speed." Habil raised his sword, feeling useful. Then he swung the blade straight down, saying it's easier said than done. The slashes went deep inside. A light appeared, making it seem like Habil was welding something. Suho smirked. "All right, the chain of magic. That's just my theory, but it seems to be working." He said, "Xavier, now it's easy for you." The Kijatatan roared fiercely in pain. It swung its claw, ready to clamp Habil. Suho pointed, "Pabodong." Immediately, it charged like a rolling ball to block the claw. He continued to press down hard with the sword to cut.
Quickly, the claw was chopped off.
Kijatatan opened its mouth, roaring in pain and anger. Its claw dropped like floating spikes, directly stabbing down strongly below. Suho shouted, "Go to the center where its legs meet, towards the tail, on the corner of its head." He ordered Habil, "If you slash in that direction." He quickly coordinated intelligently. Suho shouted, knowing he'd earn more again. Suddenly, Kijatitan's whole body covered everything. It covered him like a giant metal roof. Habil's expression froze in place. Before he could act,
Kijatatine slammed its huge body down with great force, breaking the ground beneath. His sword was thrown outside, and he was nowhere to be seen. This left Suho stunned. He shouted, "Xavier,